New seasons, new gear. Show the world what it means to be a fan in 100% authentic gear. Fanatics. Officially licensed everything.
Get ready to dive into a new world of online shopping with the Fins Tailgate. Whether you're a die-hard sports fan or just looking for the latest fashion trends, we've got you covered. With a wide variety of products from your favorite sports teams to stylish accessories and home decor, we're your one-stop shop for all things tailgate. Our easy-to-use website and hassle-free checkout process make shopping with us a breeze. Plus, with frequent sales and discounts, you won't want to shop anywhere else. So come on in and join the party at the Fins Tailgate, your new go-to destination for all things tailgate.
Good flipping afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and all stops between all Dolphin fans. And that's all we care about around here, Miami Dolphins fans. I am your gracious host, Culler Commentary. You all know me as Culler. Wearing the fresh new hat. Says right there, see, Culler Commentary. Drinking out of the Culler Commentary mug for once again, a coffee and a cup of me. Culler. We're going to be talking about all the Miami Dolphins news from camp today, as well as get to looking at what Mike McDaniel had to say in his presser after practice today. And we'll talk about all that kind of stuff. Miami Dolphins, we're getting there. We got football tonight, Hall of Fame game. We got a scrimmage Saturday, quasi-real football. We'll get a chance to see some live action at the stadium. I will definitely be in attendance with my my morning host, Ali the Persian. You all know him. I got Ali in back. I got El Capitan in back. Capitan's driving back up north to North Florida, and Ali is on a break. But I got him for a few more minutes anyway. We'll get him up here in just a second. In the meantime, as you heard me say, get over to Fanatics and get all your gear. Use the link in the description below so they know we sent you, because they really love it when we send people over to them. Why wouldn't they? They're a business. Same with Dubby. You can watch all of Shake Money's great reviews on Dubby energy drinks. All smash, no crash. All kinds of different flavors. Get yourself a starter pack. Use the link in the description below. I believe you can use TFTG at checkout for a discount off your first purchase, as well as over at Backroom Collections. All kinds of great custom memorabilia, visors for your mini helmets, all kinds of great stuff. Different color patterns if you want stuff painted a different way. They do it all there. Small business owned, mom and pop owned, literally mom and pop owned. It's a dude and his wife, and that's it. They run the whole operation. So make sure you're supporting your small businesses and get over to Backroom Collections, as well as using hashtag TFTG for 10% off your first purchase there too. Now that we're done with all the dang, I forgot our website. Make sure you're liking and sharing and subscribing to this channel so it gets more people in here. And go ahead and go over to our website, tftgnetwork.com, where you can find all the information for all our social links. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, all those things. And bookmark that page. Make it your home page so that every time you open your browser, you got the Fins Tailgate. All of our content is curated right there for you to see. All the Miami Dolphins content is curated right there for you to get to in one centralized location. So make it your home page. And maybe we'll put the weather report or the clock on it or something to make it like a useful homepage one of these days or something, you know? I'm just kidding. It's great. It's where you can find all of our merchandise as well, bios, all that stuff. It's also where you can get my personal favorite, the Cookin' Folk apron. Get your Cookin' Folk apron. I mean, when you're delivering the smackdown on somebody in a debate, you are said to be Cookin' Folk. So get yourself a Cookin' Folk apron today. They come in white and black. Make sure you're wearing it at your next barbecue so everybody knows that you'll cook some folk if they want to tell you you're wrong about something. And while you're doing that, you can check the Rabid Dolphin as well as others. Lewis, y'all know Lewis, always cooking folk, whether he is actually or not. He thinks he's cooking folk all the time. So that's really half the battle. But you also got El Capitan. You got myself whenever I can, whenever I feel like doing a show, I guess, I'm like the bad seed around here these days. But content's ramping up, people. I mean, come on. It's going to get to a point where I got to almost put in every day. So what are you going to do? It's been hot out there. I've been hurting, but I'm back in action right now. 3:54 p.m. in Southeast Florida. It is hot. It is humid. It is about to storm balls. Ali, of course, the Persian in the mornings with Top of the Tailgate and myself, as well as back in action is Late Night Exhale on Saturdays. hyping it up for Sunday. I don't know what's going on for this week, but I'm pretty sure the scrimmage is going to be done in enough time for us to put something together for late night XL. We'll get Ali's comments on that when I bring him up. Of course, we're trying to work KP in. He's had some real life, not just real life to deal with lately. So he's a little bit on hold right now, but he'll be back. And of course, Shake Money kicking it on the drive time like 3-4 days a week, plus the Friday night tailgate. He's all around, man. He's doing great work for us, putting things together, trying to be as professional as he can be for you all. And you guys have received him well. We appreciate that a lot. And of course, other than liking and sharing, you can support the channel monetarily if you'd be so kind. With Cash App, $, the Fins Tailgate, or Venmo, the Fins Tailgate, as well as super chats and super stickers for YouTube. And of course, memberships, 3 different levels. And of course, we've got so many members already. I can see a couple of them in chat already. One of them was the first one in chat and happens to be our resident Bills fan around here. Which you guys you can't keep letting them do that to y'all. That would be Michael K, also known today as 2A IQ. First Dolphin fan in the building today. How you doing, Kenna? Chad, God Soldier, Ryan AP. I see you all. Of course, Marino's GOAT, the GOAT. Aquavision, G, as always, Robert. Let's see who else we got in here. We got 33 of you right now. I don't know how many likes, but get them likes up. For life here. Good kick the other day, Cap. And
I know Ali's got to get running, and he'll be back later.
Yep.
You were going to ask him about Late Night Exhale this Saturday.
Late Night Exhale is a go, bro. I've been saying it all week, 10 p.m.
That's what I wanted to reiterate.
No questions asked. The scrimmage is at 11, bro. We'll be back like by 5.
That's what I figured. We'll be back in just enough time for Banana, who's also in the chat, to see Late Night Exhale. How you doing, Banana? And Fred, Flava J. Make sure I get all the members at least here. Have we got any more members in here? C. Heffel, how you doing? I had to say hi to C. Heffel because I still seem to be the only one that can pronounce his name correctly in this community.
It's not C. Heffel.
It's Heffel.
It's Heffel. Yeah. He's from Northwest Ohio, where I'm from. Shout out to Ohioans around here that are Dolphin fans. Listen, I got to step away, but I will be back in about 30 minutes.
All right.
Make sure that you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Turn on the notification bell because Late Night Exhale is a go for Saturday, 10 p.m. Be there or be square. Make sure you get your Doobie energy drink by using the link below because you're going to need it for Saturday because we're going to go 1,000 miles per hour. And make sure you check out, and make sure you check out our website to make sure you get some awesome gear to wear, not only to the games, but while you're watching our show, bro. We're all wearing the hats that we get directly from TFTGnetwork.com. And I will see you guys in 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Later, buddy.
And by the way, you can also get one of these.
Yeah, you get the coffee in a cup of Culler mug.
And yes, it actually does make the coffee taste better. I'm tasting it right now.
How dope would it be
does.
if there's like a 10-person panel on there and everybody's got some TFTG or ColorCom hats on? That shit would be awesome.
Right? Telling you.
This shit would be awesome.
We'd have like a big battle royale, you know what I mean? There'd be like all the guys with ColorCom hats, all the guys with Ali hats, all the guys with, TFTG hats. Well, wait, hold on. I got something to ask you about that in a second, but maybe some Cooking Folk guys with Cooking Folk aprons on in another group, and then guys with cigars in another group for Shake. You know what I mean? But I understand you're thinking about personalizing your own kind of logo action for the El Capitan specific brand. Is that what I'm hearing? Or
I've been thinking about it. Because really the TFTG is to represent the brand in the Fins tailgate, but it's meant to really be the fans tailgate network for the website. And
Right.
I don't know. I don't
Oh,
know
that's
what I
cool.
would do. I'll have to think about it.
Well, you could that. I mean, that avatar you're rocking now is pretty jamming, but
Yeah, I mean, I love it too, but I would have to, I don't know. It's something I've been workshopping a logo for just the Fins Tailgate show, and
mm-hmm.
then the Fins Tailgate Network. I don't know. I might not want to do that because the logo itself has recognition at this point. You know what I'm saying? So I might want to just keep it rolling.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course, but I mean, you could still, you could still brand old El Capitan too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I don't know how I'll do that. I don't know how I would get it across, but
Big anchor on the hat, a purple anchor. How about that?
maybe, I don't know.
A
Don't
purple
know.
anchor that says "I love you, Tua."
With a one right on it, made out of
Like
one.
I heart Tua instead of I heart mom. It'll say I heart Tua. It's a big anchor with a little sash on it. This is I heart Tua, and it's purple sash.
I don't know. I was thinking something like a Miami Dolphin with an eye patch on and fucking a tattoo and maybe like a fucking captain's hat on or some shit like that.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know.
a purple captain's hat.
Yeah, maybe the purple cap, or maybe he'd be wearing a fucking purple jacket.
Right, right.
I'll have it with like an eye patch on, some kind of hat, and a purple jacket. I don't know. I have to see what I can work up.
So Lewis is seeing us, bro. How you doing, Lewis?
What up, Lou?
And also Knight. We got Lance McDonald, couple others, South Sports 420. There's also Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, Dolphins for Life. Almost through everybody now. Mudbone, how you doing, Mudbone? Let's see. Crypto. There's Crypto. I meant to get you the link over here, Crypto.
Oh shit! Look, it's fucking Lance, dude.
Yeah, Lance. Yeah, he's come back off the road, I guess.
What is going on, Lance?
Yeah, how you been, man? How's the weather up in the zoo?
I ain't seen that motherfucker in a minute.
How you doing, Mark? Look at Mark already. You know what? Maybe not.
What does he say? I can't see.
He
it,
says,
Culler. I'm
Culler,
fucking
I was
driving.
wondering if any of you plan on talking football in the near future.
Why don't you shut the fuck up, Mark? Talk football when I'm damn ready, you fuck.
I think
Tell
we
me
should
what to
talk.
do. Not your fucking dancing.
I think
dancing
today's
ape over
topic
here.
of the day, I'm changing the title right now. It's going to be badminton. We're going to sit here and talk about badminton for the next 2 hours.
Culler, it's fucking funny you say that, okay? Because I swear to God, I was watching last night. I was in Boca last night for a work thing, and after our meeting thing, that we all went out to dinner, company shit, and we went to the Miller Ale House right there in Boca, off. And
I serviced their tablets a couple times at that location, bro. I know where you're talking about.
So anyhow, we're sitting there, and they got sports on TVs. They got the Miami interim game that was on. I watched a little bit of that. They had the Marlins playing. Watched a little bit of that. But I'll be honest, what I watched the most with more of the table was fucking a cornhole match between kids that were like 12 or 13. And it was like a cornhole tournament, like youth tournament or some shit. And I was thinking as I'm sitting there, and it was me and one other guy, we were like commentating to it. And I'm thinking, damn, you know what? This might be a bit I need to run on the show. Just watching these fucking kids cornhole. It was on ESPN HO. So, the Ocho with fucking ESPN. And I think I might get into like commentating that shit and bring that programming because this shit was hilarious, dude. I don't give a fuck. That shit was hilarious. It was so funny.
Did
Yeah,
you
I was
have you
thinking about
caught any of the
90s.
axe throwing competitions, bro? There's
Bro, I
like this
seen they had
axe
all kinds of
throwing
shit on
league,
there.
man.
Bro, I don't know what it was because it was like a highlight reel of different weird ass sports, obviously. And I swear to God, like one of the sports is falling down stairs or some shit, bro. I'm like, what the fuck? There's a sport for falling down stairs? I don't know what the fuck they were doing, but I
Well,
just seen like a couple people falling down some weird set of stairs in a
well,
sports
I'm just
highlight. And I was
thinking.
like, what the fuck?
Well, these guys are all like, and this is indoor axe throwing. We're not talking about like strongman competition or nothing out there in the, out there in the woods where they have them. No, this is like in a bar type like, like some kind of decent vendor, you know, axe throwing competition. And I'm thinking to myself, what town in what state do you find the axe throwing pro shop? Yeah, there's got to be a pro shop, where they have like custom handles and they have like a sizing chart, you know what I mean? And like, like a golf pro shop, like
Yeah,
where's
like
the axe
anything.
throwing pro shop? That's what I
Where's
want to.
their where's the axe throwing sporting section at Dick's Sporting Goods? You know what I'm saying? What the fuck? Like, where's it? And I'll tell you what was fucking hilarious, right? Was that this fucking cornhole tournament was in like a stadium thing, and the bitch was packed. And I was like, where the fuck did they find all these people to come watch this live? It was straight stacked and packed. I'm like, what the fuck? They had like cushions around the guardrails and shit. I was like, damn, what is going on?
Well, I had to ask the question. Okay. And here comes rolling in this Buffalo fan that says, Culler, we have 4 or 5 bars that have axe throwing. So now we know the axe throwing pro shop is likely in Buffalo, New York. There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I've been to there's these axe throwing joints. I've seen them. It's cool, I guess. I don't know. I've been throwing hatchets and axes out in the woods with fucking buddies forever. Like, that shit was cool in the fucking 90s. But anyhow, man, I had one buddy.
Well,
dude,
do
that
they have like
motherfucker-
at the pro shop? Do they have like like some kind of mom and pop brand grinding wheel that only they know about? That's like really high end. You know what I mean? That
Well, not even that color. What kind of like a baseball bag? Like, do you have like a axe throw bag? Like you carry it in on like a sleeve? Like, like those guys that are all good at pool and shit. They got their stick in that fucking thing they bring. You got an axe in one of those bitches too.
Exactly.
You know it.
Do they have do they have different colored wedges, the wedges that you shove in the head to tighten the axe head, you know what I mean? Do they have like fluorescent colored ones, you know what I mean, for different pros, I mean, axe throwing.
I know, right? Like, I guess, that's cool and all. And I'm cool that it's a sport. I just found it very comedic that, like, there's a channel, it's being televised, and people are watching it in a sports bar. And not only that, but there's like a stadium for it that's full. It tripped me out. I thought it was hilarious.
Now William Perry says we got 3 or 4 places down here. He's in Alabama, of course.
No, listen, those axe throwing joints are everywhere. It's that.
And he says I used to be in an axe throwing league, and I'm thinking now William Perry looks like the part, like the type of guy that could enjoy a good axe throwing competition. You know what I mean?
No, William Perry can.
And it's likely that William Perry though had to probably learn that skill to survive growing up in the woods in Alabama. You know what I mean?
I don't know about survive, but certainly learned it the same way I fucking learned how to throw an axe by fucking going around and chopping a bunch of shit down.
I used to throw them at my little sisters, man. That's how I learned. I don't know about anybody else.
Fuck. Throwing axes at kids. Damn, Culler. That's a different game. That's a fucking different game, bro. But yeah.
I learned how to throw an axe from the Florida State Seminoles, man. And their stupid tomahawk chop.
a buddy I went to middle school with, I was best friends with his brother. Anyhow, his stepbrother I went to middle school with, he could fucking sling the shit out of a hatchet. That son of a bitch, we would like in an amazing amount of accuracy. We would fucking sling beer bottles in the air, and that son of a bitch could hit him every single time. And I'm talking way up there and way far. He'd be like,
Well,
right out the fucking sky. It was amazing.
Well, you know, I get like hatchet throwing. That's like, you know, cool. But these guys are throwing like tree chopping axes, like full size axes, bro. That 2 hands they got to throw it with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've chucked an axe or two. You know what I'm saying? But like, here's the thing, and I get it that there's a bar and they throw them, and that's cool. It's that there's tournaments, and all right, fine. There's a tournament. I've been in beer pong tournaments. I've been in cornhole tournaments. Fine. But now we're televising a fucking sudden death match event. But not just that, there were kids. They were fucking kids. Like, whoa, dude, we got a lot of sports going on.
I'm telling you. It's America.
Fucking right. I mean, it was funny.
Looks like William Perry got stuck like Michael K by the autocorrect. You see, they both R thrower and then had to correct it with X. So the spell checker is definitely in full force today.
Yeah, well, at least it's working. Right,
and B McD says, "I'm not gonna lie, drunk people and flying axes sounds terrifying."
Yeah, that ain't no bullshit.
Yeah, just a smidge.
But you gotta be at least 3 or 4 beers in to even get that English on that axe, bro. You need those beers to be a better axe thrower. Like, that's just standard.
Yeah, well, I mean, Adam Padilla makes a good point. He says, El Cap, there's archery, and that's an Olympic sport. It can't be that much of a stretch to have an axe throwing be a sport.
Fuck, dude, that's a fucking astute ass point. Damn.
Yeah, I mean, archery was the axe throwing of its day. You know, actually, it was more like the target shooting of its day. You know what I mean?
If we're getting into fucking Olympic sports, I mean, they're throwing discs, they're throwing a giant heavy rock. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that comes from the fucking shout out to Joe. Who that is? Joe Levis.
That's Joe using his member chat. How you doing, Joe Levesque? No, I didn't go today.
Training camp?
No, I didn't go. Yeah, I didn't go today, but I did follow CB83's wonderful play-by-play of camp today. He did a pretty good job. I'll give him credit. He finally got his ass down there, the camp.
Well, I reached out.
Like, talk facts instead of what he imagines it to be like. You know what I mean?
I reached out to CB83, matter of fact. Before I left town in Boca, I didn't know if he was staying the weekend or like just hitting practice and going back to Orlando.
Well, I think he's got the wife and the kids at a resort, so they might be here for the scrimmage too.
I didn't know any of this. I just know that he was down there at practice because he told me. And so I hit him up and I said, "Hey man, are you I knew you were at practice today. I'm in Boca. I didn't know if you were heading home. I'll fucking, meet up with you and we'll fucking eat some lunch or some bullshit." You know what I'm saying? Just say, hey. But he was staying down in Miami and I ain't going that direction. I ain't turning around and driving 2 hours around. But, I reached out to him. He said he's staying the weekend, so he'll be getting some more updates and shit. That's good.
Yep.
So what did you think of everything?
And thank you, Joe, who used his monthly member chat to say that, and also to remind everybody, Joe has been a member for a straight year. We have a member that's been a member for a freaking year, bro. You believe that?
Fucking Joe holding it down, son.
I mean, I don't know if it's the only year yet we got, but dang, man, we've already been doing that for a year, bro.
Lifeblood of the tailgate, the members, dog. That ain't no bullshit.
And I know Joe was in town recently. I didn't get a chance to meet up with him. I don't know if we just I'm actually was busy, but I didn't, we didn't actually make contact and get together. But next time you're in town, Joe, just hit me up, man. At least on Twitter or something, just wave your hands. Hey, I'm freaking here, bro. And we'll exchange numbers, man. But yeah. So what do you think, man, about what you've heard today from camp? I was gonna read through Poopart's take on camp today from his
So
camp report.
before we get rolling into it, Color, I haven't heard anything about camp today. Very minimal, I'll say, but we'll just say nothing, because I've been in a meeting all day, so I've
Right,
been
right.
fucking busy as hell. I didn't get out till like 2, so I've only been out for like 2 hours, and I had to go see some people for like an hour and a half, and then I hit the road. Had to go touch base with some contacts in the area for a couple of reasons: old friends and people who I use to keep my finger on the pulse with what's going on with the Dolphins facility at times.
Right,
But
right.
there's to me, they're like, I don't know, man. I hear people, I hear how they're talking. There's overreaction on all sides. I just want to reiterate to people, this is practice, people. Now I get it. There's a lot of people who are making judgments about what's going on in these practices, but the reality is that these guys, it's the simplest of plays installments. There's nothing to read too much into it. It's good, it's fun. I'm happy to see everything moving and stuff, but this guy beating the hell out of that guy, or this is the second coming of this or that, or wow, this one's balling out. I'm not saying you can't see that and understand, but like, don't react too much one way or the other. There's too many experts walking around out here right now, Color, thinking they're getting an expert opinion on fucking practice, and it's driving me nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to get at. It's
Mm-hmm.
driving me nuts.
Well, for
From
instance,
watching it
today
on
today
film,
I mentioned to CB83 because he was at camp and he's saying, hey, he was describing the DB drills, the defensive back drills, and how they're running through different schemes and formations, and they've got other DBs who aren't actually going through the drill in that cycle, acting as the offensive players, like a wide receiver, like a stand-in for a wide receiver. So, and they'll rotate through that. For anybody that's gone to a practice themselves, like in high school, college, or even the pros, you do that a lot. It's similar all the way up the chain. And so because it's not like they can pull the wide receivers away from their drills to play the part for the defensive backs, right? So, and CB says, hey, they got Javon Holland kind of in front of this guy acting as the wide receiver. And I'm like, and I made the joke that, oh, what are you talking about? Don't you know, we're gonna be using Javon Holland as a wide receiver now. You know what I mean? And that's literally the kind of stuff that some people would report out of camp after seeing something like that. And it's like, no, it's just practice. You know what I mean? Like just because Javon Holland was acting as a wide receiver in drills, it means nothing. We don't have any secret play that's going to involve Javon Holland as a wide receiver. No, it was me that said it, Lewis. I was just saying, like, I was joking with CB83. Now he was not the one that said it. He was saying, hey, this is what they're doing. They're using the other DBs as stand-ins for for placeholders. And I made the joke that some other people would be like, we're using Javon as a wide receiver. I saw him at camp acting as a wide receiver, not having any clue what they're actually looking at. But I just think it's an interesting phenomenon, that happens. But yeah, I mean, you're going to get a lot of people, or you're going to get a lot of stuff going on at practice that you have no idea why they're doing it, but it has nothing to do with anything that's going to happen in live game or anything like that. It's just, there's only so many people at the facility. They can't go get the janitors to act as dummies. You know what I mean? But yeah, Adam, I guess Noah might be able to play wide receiver, but apparently he had another decent day in the books. I think Capitan may be having some technical difficulties at the moment. No, Lewis, it's not any specific person. It's more just the casuals that will start up a narrative that we're doing something based on something they saw in camp, and it may really be nothing, like it may be a case like that where they just saw something they didn't understand what they were looking at. While we're waiting on Capitan to rejoin, I'm going to go ahead and start running through this article and seeing a little bit of what Alan Poupart from SI and Fan Nation for the Dolphins reports from camp today. I'll run through most of it. I'm not going to steal all the guys' thunder, but there's a couple little highlights. Let's see here. We'll start with so the article opens up highlights, lowlights, and observations from the seventh day, which is our seventh practice, which is day 9 of Miami Dolphins training camp. Dolphins back at practice after having a day off, and we saw officials for the first time. So there were referees today actually looking at real, calling real penalties and all that. Unfortunately, we also saw a lot of flags. And perhaps the story of the day involved a slew of pre-snap penalties. Our tally for those ended up at 5. So obviously the offensive line having a day today with the men in stripes, apparently. So we'll have to get that cleaned up. It's a whole different ball game when you got a trained official that instead of Vic. I mean, from what I understand, Vic Fangio has been responsible for calling penalties the past few days in training camp. But now we got real referees, and they're throwing flags out there for false starts, it looks like. Offensive line needs to get that together, or offense in general. From what I understand, Waddle had a couple false starts himself, so it wasn't just offensive line. For a second consecutive, and Waddle, by the way, was wearing the orange jersey today after yesterday's practice. I meant to mention that. But it seems that he was having some issues at the line of scrimmage when it comes to discipline. So, sometimes you can let that get to you when you get awarded with something like that. You got to be careful. A lot of, it's interesting. Sidebar. I think it was Ali that had suggested, or maybe it was Lewis, that had suggested, maybe even Capitan, that they wouldn't give Cam Smith the orange jersey because it would get him in his head. Like, you don't award that yet because, who was it? Lewis or
struggling?
You remember who was saying that, El Capitan?
What's that?
That they wouldn't give Cam Smith the orange jersey because, it would get him in his head.
That was definitely Lewis saying that. And
it was Lou. Yeah, okay, that's right.
I agree 100%.
Well, it looks like the same thing actually happened to Waddle today. He was involved with a couple of the false starts from what CB83 reported live. And maybe it's, I forgot to DM CB83 the link, but he ain't around anyway. It looks like probably chilling in the jacuzzi with the old lady. I would be too. I don't blame him. But anyway, so the article opened up. Alain Poupart was reporting that today was the first day with referees, by the way, El Capitan. I didn't know if you were aware of that.
No, that's good.
And apparently along with the referees came quite a few of penalties, a few of like 5 of them on pre-snap penalties. And I remember from watching CB83's live show that, he pointed out Waddle a couple times on those false starts. So, to me, it looks like the orange jersey does get the people, For a second consecutive practice, injured corner Jalen Ramsey showed up on the field with his crutches, supporting the team. Linebacker Bradley Chubb was seen shaking his right arm after a play in team drills late in practice and stayed on the sideline for the final few plays of the practice. I also remember CB83 reporting that he had got up gingerly after a play too earlier on, but it didn't seem to affect him. Wide receiver Eric Izukama and offensive lineman Dan Feeney also appeared to sustain minor injuries during practice. Linebacker Malik Reed sat out today, though he was spotted on the field. Also missing practice were corner Keon Crossan, corner Ethan Bonner, along with the two remaining pup players, Nick Needham and Tanner Connor. I saw Needham doing warm-ups on the sideline the other day. He seems like he's getting pretty close. Brandon Jones and Trill Williams again wore red no contact jerseys and took part in a limited number of team snaps. Teron Armstead, again, as expected, was kept out of team periods. Wide receiver Jalen Waddle wore the orange jersey, as I stated earlier, as the top performer from Tuesday. The first competitive situation of practice again involved one-on-one work with defensive linemen against offensive linemen in pass rushing situations, along with DBs versus receivers and running backs versus linebackers in pass protection. There was some good work there by rookie Devon Achane in pass protection. That's good to hear. And by Channing Tindall in pass rush. Also good to hear. Let's see. We'll give these goods. In the meantime, there was a 3-on-3 receiver versus DB session at the other end of the field, and Xavier Howard got himself a pass breakup and an interception on a deep Tua pass in the end zone intended for Robbie Chosen into double coverage. Safety Deshaun Elliott also had 2 pass breakups in that drill, and defensive back Elijah Campbell also had a nice pass breakup. DT Christian Wilkins continued his brilliant camp, and he got into the backfield for a would-be sack on Tua on the first snap of the 11-on-11 work. Also had a couple plays against the run. Let's see. I'm going to skip over a few of these so you can get over to Poop Art's article and read it since he wrote it and would love the click from you. Let's see. Defensive tackle Zach Sealer was also very noticeable, both against the run and in the pass rush. Van Ginkel tackled Myles Gaskin for a loss. Achane had a nice, whatever that means. I think he forgot to put run. Achane had a nice run and some catches in some team sessions, but he also dropped a low but highly catchable pass in the end zone from Mike White. On the last play of the session that featured 2 false starts and a defensive pass interference on Kader Kohu against Tyreek Hill, Tua threw a 25-yard completion to a wide-open Hill down the left sideline after Noah fell after trying to press him at the line. So Tyreek Hill beat Noah. Whoop-de-doo.
Shocker.
Right. Corner Justin Bethel had a would-be sack against Skyler, but was beaten for a touchdown pass from Mike White to Braxton Berrios in the back of the end zone. Among offensive linemen who had noticeable blocks were Kendall Lamb and Lester Cotton. Tight end Eric Saubert dropped a perfectly thrown pass over the middle from Tua when he turned around late to spot the ball. Let me say that again.
That's not good. That pisses me.
Tight end Eric Saubert dropped a perfectly thrown pass over the middle from Tua when he turned around late to spot the ball.
Just want to say, I want to see Saubert's gigantic ass out there with the football. He's a big boy. He is a big dude. But I don't want to see him dropping passes, especially as pointed out, perfectly passed football.
Rookie free agent Mitchell Agude had another sack, but this one came against White. What does he have? Like AI write his articles or something? But this one came, White had to pull down, came when White had to pull down a high shotgun snap from Alame Uluave. Whoever that is. Alama Uluave. Stop us if you've heard this before, but rookie corner Cam Smith had another nice pass breakup. This one in the end zone when he drove in front of River Craycraft to bat away a pass from Skylar Thompson. Tua had some nice completions over the middle of the field in 11-on-11 work. He had a nice touchdown pass on a nice back shoulder completion to Hill with Howard in tight coverage. That's nice. I've seen him throw that ball. He's done that a couple times in game. That's a really nice pass he's got. When he can throw that one for sure. I know exactly I can imagine exactly what the look was. We've seen him do it in game. It's a pretty nice pass. One of them I thought was probably the best he's thrown in his career during one of the games last year. I think I mentioned that on stream. But here's a little bit of news that I like to see myself personally. Linebacker Cameron Good had a tackle for loss on a run in a red zone situation. Gotta love that, man. I knew that's exactly where they'd need him. Cappy, Ali, glad it's you, bro. What was I saying about Cam Good and where we could use him at? No, we only half got him back. Well, just to remind the audience, Cam Smith can blow up lines of scrimmage. That's what he does. He gets in the backfield. And that's just what he does. And I just thought, and he can also contain the edge, the cornerback on the edge, i.e. Josh Allen. And lo and behold, the work he gets in practice, he has a tackle for a loss on a run in red zone situation. So he got through, he blew up the line of scrimmage is what that's saying. In the red zone, which is exactly where I suggested we could use somebody like him in a flex situation. Not as a world-beating starting linebacker, but great enough to use in that type of situation with that type of skill of blowing up lines of scrimmage. Man, spot on with Cameron Good, man. I'm glad to see him getting more work and getting more, standing out a little more because he's my surprise linebacker to make this 53-man roster. I'm calling it now. Cameron Good. But that's really cool to see. On the next play, after Cameron Good had the tackle for a loss, I want to make sure Lewis is listening here. Lewis, I haven't seen you chat in a while. Give me a set of eyes if you're still there, buddy. You got to hear this one. This is for you, bro. Matter of fact, I might even. How many likes we got on this thing right now? Let's see. $37 likes, 52 of you watching. Let's get a couple more likes. Yep, I can hear you now.
I was talking to you the whole time. I'm like, why does he keep over talking me?
But
yeah,
did I not?
I have to repeat your sentiment about Cam Good. I'm excited that he's getting work. I do agree. He's not a world beater, but he definitely is a piece that can be used in the red zone in various different places.
When he's a fresh guy coming in,
from what I've
blow
heard,
up a line of scrimmage, man.
From what I've heard, from the camps and what we saw, he is starting to be seen, I should say. You can start seeing him pop out throughout camp.
Him in his article,
And what I've heard, he's also gotten work with the first team as well.
Well, and
So,
again, he was working drills right next to Jalen and Chubb the other day, you know?
and another thing is, I also found out there's another defensive tackle that has starting to make a name for himself. That is kind of surprising, as he was an undrafted free agent, and that's Peely.
Peely,
Peely,
right?
the Samoan from USC Trojans, has starting to pop up. In fact, I can't remember who it was, but I heard he got yelled at really bad because he slammed one of the running backs with a red shirt.
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't know
he
which running
body
back it was.
slammed Mostert, I think it was.
Yeah, something like that. And they yelled at him because I guess you're not supposed to do that with the red shirt. But
So I promised Ronald Perry. That name is familiar. I think he is somebody that hasn't been around in a while that was around for a while. Like,
yeah, it looks very familiar.
either case, how you doing, Ronald Perry? Dolphins Realtors in the chat. Everybody say hi to Dolphins Realtor and hit him up on Twitter if you need any real estate needs in all of Florida, pretty much. He'll go anywhere. He'll talk to anybody. It's that Dolphins Realtor. You know, that one. Anyway, so I promised Lewis, and he showed me the eyes, bro. So he's here. Okay. On the next play from that tackle for loss from Cameron Good, Skylar Thompson threw a short touchdown pass. Yes, short. To tight end Durham Smythe on a play that took a really long time to develop. Short, yes, but took a really long time to develop. What kind of tight end route and scheme and play would take so long to develop if it's just a 3-yard outlet? Just wondering.
Actually, that sounds like he was running a crossing pattern, kind of very similar to what Gesicki did in the red zone.
Yeah, sounds like a tight end one roll to me. And he catches a touchdown pass.
Sounds like he's taking on Gesicki's routes too.
Just saying. I know we're gonna. I've kind of Lewis is kind of chilled a little on Durham Smythe.
It's all good.
lately,
I'll lay
but
off Lewis too.
I have
Listen, Durham
I have
Smythe
to
is not
admit,
a world beater, Culler. Let's be honest. Durham Smythe is not a world beater, but
that's true.
he does good enough that it's solid and I'm okay with it.
Sure, and in fairness to Lewis, he has chilled on him a little bit lately. I give him credit. I'd say that to Lewis. I'm just joshing him, you know. But either case, one other thing, I think this is the last thing I'll report from it is pretty much the rest of the article. Eli Apple had good coverage to force an incompletion from Thompson to Craycraft near the sideline. Poopart says among quarterbacks, Tua had the best day. White probably second. And that's the end of the article. But there was one other tidbit in the article. Chris Brooks. And I know you mentioned him the other day, Ali, about what he did inside the warehouse.
He did it again today.
Who had a 95-yard touchdown run at the end of practice Tuesday, had a nifty 6-yard touchdown run up the middle. I think that's supposed to say 60. I don't know. I'll have to check that. He says 6-yard. I don't know why he'd be, I thought it was longer when I heard about it earlier. But we'll report it as the text says, a 6-yard touchdown run up the middle, but a nifty one.
Yeah, they were doing red zone work, and supposedly he scored an 8-yard touchdown today in the red zone.
Oh, Ronald Perry, the Jets fan. That's right. I remember Ronald Perry now. Okay, so Ali, this guy Chris Brooks, I looked him up. They don't even have a Pro Football Reference page on him yet. There's
bro, it's really weird, bro.
Yet.
This guy, he doesn't even have a highlight reel. I tried finding one for him on YouTube.
Is it possible that this guy is related in some way or descendant from in some way to James Brooks, the old Cincinnati Bengal running back from the Marino era?
That'd be interesting. I have no
Because
idea.
if
Color,
it
to be
is,
honest.
if he is, it ain't no wonder he's freaking standing out. You know what I mean? Because James Brooks was one of those guys back then for a minute. I can't find no info on the guy other than his Dolphins bio, which has him wearing number 33, which we all know he's not because Eli Apple's wearing that number. So keep a lookout for this guy, Chris Brooks, everybody. Ali's been telling you. This might be something that nobody knows about here, brewing, boiling up, simmering up. We'll see how that starts to play out. So get over there and read Alleen's article. I don't know why y'all hate on him so much. He just reported what he sees. I mean, come on. But I know y'all have your biases. He said something mean about Tua one day, so now he's poop heart. Poop art is what they call him. But anyway.
In that same bubble practice, Color, Skylar Thompson threw a 50+ yard touchdown to Jalen Waddle.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Delusion and patience, man. That's hilarious.
Poop art. Yeah,
you guys are so mean to this guy.
Yeah, poop art.
Oh, that's funny stuff.
Guy puts, I don't see, and all those people that do that, I know Delusional's not one of them. He's just joking, but like for all those people that are like that, or like this guy, I didn't know what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You go out there and write an article, sit down at your desk, type all that out, telling everybody they don't know what they're talking about. And then you'll be respected like they are. Because that's a lot of damn work, man. I don't see I don't see nobody writing articles. Because it's a lot of freaking work.
Mm-hmm.
So you might not agree with what they say, or you might want to crap on what they say, but the way people go at him or act like, or quasi act like they're boycotting him or something. It's like, really?
Yeah. Green Rat, there's like individual videos where you can see a play where he was in. That was it, just a play. But there's not like a dedicated Chris Brooks highlight reel like a lot of the other players that you can find here in the NFL. Like even Brandon Pilley, who's an undrafted free agent, I found one for him, for example. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of weird. But I can look at the BYU highlights. You're right, but then I would have to be looking at combing through plays, trying to find one where he was the big star of it, basically.
Right. So Ali, I was going to get into this today's presser for McDaniel. He looks like he's so far that's the only one they've uploaded to YouTube. It looks like he's the only one that spoke today after practice. I haven't.
Go ahead, run it up, bro. I haven't seen it, so I have no idea what he said.
Yeah, me neither. We're both going in totally blind.
Live reaction right here.
You got a little bit of time to run through this. It's about 19 minutes, 15 seconds long. Of course, we'll have to break into it.
Definitely.
We'll have to break into it for copyright reasons and all that, but for commentary. But and this is only for commentary and reaction purposes, YouTube, as I put in the title today. Media reaction, which we're allowed to do. YouTube, who has great servers, by the way, on our really awesome partners. We really love YouTube. Everybody, if you need any hosting, broadcasting needs, all of that, YouTube.
Color, I got till about 5:30. That's when you got me.
Oh, sweet. Got plenty of time.
Okay.
I think. Famous last words from Culler. I'll go on and talk about quantum physics next, man. I forget it, Mike McDaniel, man. Well, although he might be doing that too. By the way, look, I keep a lookout for the latest book from Mike McDaniel. It'll be his first book. It's going to be called How to Say Absolutely Nothing by Mike McDaniel. That's right. It's The Art of Saying Nothing by Mike McDaniel. That's going to be the name of his first book. So let's see.
It's better to say nothing than saying something at all.
Let's see here. Oh, I'm going to pull this lever, Ollie, and push this button over here. Turn this knob. I think there's a dial I need to turn also right over here.
You remember the dial code, right?
Yep. And then I think I've got to actually flip this switch. Okay. There it is. Look at that. It worked, bro. I'm like,
Yeah.
dang. All
As
that
long as you
stuff
know the
I had to
code.
go through, man. You know what I mean? It worked. I got like that little children's toy set with all the little levers and buttons and wheels right here in front of me. You know, it actually is connected USB to my computer, and I have to, like, you know, that's how I do things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, you don't have the helicopter on your phone, do you?
I do not, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. So it looks like we're staying on the ground today, ladies and gentlemen.
I
So
would
it
have
looks
had
like
top of the
Aqua's
tailgate
saying,
this morning. I would
what's
have
that?
had top of the I would have had top of the tailgate this morning had it not been my work requesting that I work till almost midnight. So
Oh, jeez, man.
sorry.
Oh, no big deal, bro. You know, season's coming. There's going to be so much content. We won't, you know, people will be telling us to take off. So,
That's true.
Aquavision says Anthony Rizzo headed to Illinois for concussion he suffered back in May. Headed to Illinois is there a concussion hospital there or something, or is that where he lives from having played with Chicago? Huh. Either case, that's Anthony Rizzo, Florida native, I believe, who went to Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. The infamous Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. Yeah, he's on the injury list. Yeah, he was with the Yankees last I checked. Did he go back to the Cubs without me knowing it? But
I'm not sure.
he might be with the White Sox or something.
By the way, Culler, you saw the new linebacker that we signed, right?
Mike Rosen or something?
Mike Rose. He played for the St. Louis Battlehawks, bro. And in the XFL. And if he performs like they did from what I saw, I mean, it might be something. But one thing I noticed about him, he's very big. He's a very big guy. And that was something in the middle linebacker position. We are lacking size, is what I've heard. So we'll see what he does. Not holding my breath, but see. I just figured you'd get a kick out of it because it's St. Louis. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah. So it looks like Aqua was right.
What happened?
Yankees place Anthony Rizzo on IL with post-concussion syndrome.
What does IO mean?
IL?
Oh, you said IL? I thought you said IO.
Yeah, it's IL in baseball. I forget what the L stands for. Injury list, maybe?
Okay. I understand we have injured reserve.
Right.
I guess maybe it's if you're on the IL, or can you come off the IL in baseball?
Yeah, it's similar rules to the NFL. Like there's there's things you got to there's ins and outs, but yeah. But all right, well, take care of yourself, Anthony, and get back as soon as you can. We all know down here how them concussions can be. Maybe it's in the water in Florida, dude. Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, so before we do that, before we play Mike McDaniel here, I do want to remind everybody to like and share. We got 44 people in the building right now, and something like 44 likes. Holy crap, look at that. When does that ever happen? Now we got 46 people in here. So you two that just came in, you got to hit the like button before I start this video. Should we make them hit the like button, Ollie? I mean, really, let's see. 44. Let's see. If one of them hits the like button.
If you guys can get 25 more likes, Culler will get up and wear a cheerleader outfit and do a dance.
There he goes again, putting words in my mouth. Dang. We got
Notice
the
how
46.
he hasn't said no yet. So
Right,
just
right.
putting that out there.
So we got the 46 likes, but it looks like they left. They hit the like button and left because now we only got, no, I'm kidding. So anyway, all right, 50 of you here watching. We got 48 likes. We're basically perfect ratio.
We're
That's
almost
exactly what
100%.
YouTube wants to
It's
see.
probably the Jets fans that haven't liked yet. It's all good.
Yeah, and Mark, of course, you know, because we haven't started talking football yet. I'm
He's
pretty
still worried
sure
about
he
the
gave up
sun, bro.
Pretty sure he gave up a long time ago, bro, with waiting for football talk, you know.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you got Michael K all worried about, why isn't there very many people at the training facilities in Miami? We got 3,200 people watching our training camp. Well, what the fuck is there else to do in Buffalo? There's nothing else to do. Obviously, they're going to go to training
Apparently,
camp.
axe throwing competitions are the big hit in Buffalo, bro.
Remember, these are the guys that jump through tables just on purpose.
Well, maybe they ought to start throwing the axes at the tables,
Maybe.
or throwing the people, or throwing themselves at the axe.
Actually, I'm very surprised. I'm very surprised there's 3,200 people at a Buffalo Bills training camp,
Yeah,
especially
right?
since 90% of them are all afraid of the sun anyway.
I'm telling you.
So
They also got 3,200 janitors. I mean, you know, somebody's got to wipe.
somebody's got to clean up that town. I mean,
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
Anyway, dang, Ollie, we're going hard, man, on the Bills fans today, bro.
Michael K has been tagging me left or right on Twitter, bro. I think he's obsessed.
3,200 Langoliers to clean up fucking Josh Allen's fucking shit. Oh, thank you for letting us know that, Mark. I didn't think I was going to be able to continue my day without knowing that you listened to your guy about Buffalo's training camp.
Let's just start it up, Culler. Let's not delay. I don't have, a lot of time. What's up, Jonas?
So Ali, my basil, bro, it's really all right, let's go with this thing.
I don't want to hear about your basil fetish.
There's probably like 5 minutes of this screen right here because the Miami Dolphins can't be bothered to edit freaking this 5 minutes of this screen before the press
Culler,
conference.
I thought you had it going, and this was the, that's why we're waiting, because you had it going this entire time.
Oh no, but just because you now I just push play and we're gonna just see how long it takes, man.
And Culler, jeez.
Look at this nonsense. See how far it goes in. Oh, it's only not bad. It's only a minute.
More intimate setting.
More than you can get out of it. No, that's a terrible attitude, isn't it?
It is.
I wanted to ask you about the new offensive line coach, Butch Berry. What have you noticed, learned, observed in regards to his method of teaching and motivating?
He knows how to protect himself from the sun, first and foremost. You can find him by a hat. He sweats a lot. And, I had a previous relationship with him, working relationship. And, when you do have that, there's certain expectations that you have when you're joined back together. And he's met those expectations because of his diligent command of that crew. I think they've got a really cool thing going there where they've been working and owning techniques that other really, it's probably the best that they've been able to understand what we're trying to do as an offense. And the thing about O-line coaches, if you have a good one, in which I think we do have, they're typically not satisfied. They're typically very they're ready to get a sucker punch from the side that they can't see, just because that the nature of offensive line in general, you're out athleted because the best pound for pound athletes really are defensive linemen in this game. So you have to be on your P's and Q's. You can't be result based. You have to be process driven, and he's really done a great job. But classic O-line coach form. Don't ask him what type of job he's doing, because he'll grumble and you need to be better today, which is what ultimately I think players really yearn for.
Do you have any idea what he just said, Ali?
What I understood, the only thing I really understood was that Butch Berry wears a big hat to protect himself from the sun. And I think the Buffalo Bills should take note, because that is a good way to stay out of the sun. So maybe they should just buy hats. Just saying. Anyway.
And he's burly. That's what I heard there too. He's burly.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got cut off because of something that's going on with my work currently, so I didn't quite hear everything, but I didn't really understand what I was trying to listen to. So just being honest.
All right.
I wish we could hear the question, because then I can understand his correlation. But you can't hear the questions, and that's
yeah.
kind of my issue.
It was the question was in the context of the question was regarding whether Butch can come in and how he matches with what McDaniel's trying to do as an offensive coordinator and stuff like that. If his culture and the way he coaches is conducive to what we're trying to do and stuff like that. That's basically what McDaniel confirmed was, that's how he is,
If there's anybody that knows the wide zone offense more than McDaniel, it's Butch Berry, because he learned everything from when he's with the 49ers. From what's that guy's name? Forster, I think his name is. Mm-hmm. But everything they know about it, this guy knows just as much, if not more. Right. So that's why I'm saying I would. The answer is yes. He obviously would definitely benefit and be conducive to what they're trying to do here. Obviously.
Right.
So.
All right. So we shall continue.
Yes.
We shall continue the journey through this semantical bath.
You've seen from Liam Eichenberg so far, and what have you wanted to see from him at this stage?
So year 2 is very exciting for multiple reasons. Like what we do from an offensive line standpoint, there's some trust fall involved where you're like, okay, we don't want you to just block this person safely. We want you to.
For those that couldn't hear the question, he's asking specifically about Liam Eichenberg.
Aggressively attack, thereby making you vulnerable. That can ebbs and flows. We felt it last year. The players know it. That sometimes when in the heat of battle, you revert back to things that we don't emphasize. Well, that doesn't mean those things were bad. It means now you're off with your teammate who's trying to do it. It's the synergy of it. And he's really, really taken a step forward that way. Year 2, since you do know what words mean, what play calls mean, what how we communicate, how we target.
It's a good thing he knows what words mean. That's always a good first step.
Aiming points, timing. Since he does know that, he's been able to do some things we were unable to do in year 1, that I was adamant that we didn't do in year 1, which is move him around a little bit too. And he's, I really love where he is at in the progression. But again, it is a progression that's long, because you can't. It like I was alluding to before. We're trying to do stuff at a high level that you have to really kind of empty all of the old thinking and can't revert in the heat of battle. That's where our biggest problems came, were people reverting, and he's right now doing a great job, but you have to, what's going to happen when you're like the D-line's turned up today? Okay, then what's going to happen next week when you have different people? Those are the things that are monumental for him, as well as all the guys that have been here, to really make sure that what we're doing on a day-to-day basis is ingrained and not just a practice technique.
Can you pause it for a second, Culler?
That's
Yep.
All right. So my biggest takeaway.
I'm going to give you a chance to comment just about every question.
Okay. My biggest takeaway from what I've heard here is that it sounds like they've given Eichenberg and maybe even Austin Jackson, but they didn't bring him up. But it almost looks like they've given Eichenberg a clean slate, like a do-over or start over. And it started last year. You understand what I'm saying? It started with them and him learning the fundamentals, basically, of the gist of the scheme. And now this year is all about the communication and aspect of it, where he understands what certain words mean in the sense of, like, you know, when they, I'm just using, I don't know what they're going to use, but let's say I say Blue 42 Foxtrot. When I say that, what does Foxtrot mean? That might mean something to him. You understand what I'm saying? It sounds like that the communication and pinpointing what direction that those communications mean and how they correlate, I think that's what this year 2 is about. Right. And it almost sounds. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead and land. I didn't realize.
No, it's okay. The last part of it is, it sounds like he admitted that the offensive line at times, in certain people, not everybody, but at times, some of the offensive linemen were reverting back to the previous regime's offensive line ways. And that is why they couldn't necessarily be effective as they look now, because now it's all about repetition and building that muscle memory. When certain things happen, they know how to analyze it and move forward rather than reverting to the old.
Right. And I was thinking on your first point about, a fresh start, clean slate, whatever. It seems like the whole offense, in most positions, most regards, is on the same program as Tua is. In other words, they made the same assessment for everybody that they did for Tua. This whole thing wasn't right. Not just Tua, but the whole thing wasn't right. So we can't evaluate anybody until we have a year 1 in with all of them to say, hey, is this guy going to get better here? Is this guy going to fit this or that? Is there something different? And I think Liam Eichenberg, Austin Jackson, these guys, I think that's why we're sitting on our hands with these guys. For the same reason we sat on our hands with Tua.
So Mark K wants to take his notes from Michael K, because this is a comment that Michael K would normally make. He says, so Ali, Eichenberg, who has his education from Notre Dame, can't understand English. That's not what the fuck I said at all. Obviously, I'd hope he can understand the English language. But what we're talking about is certain call-outs. Obviously, they're not going to say, hey, look at the defense. We're going to go right towards the defensive end. You're not going to say that. You're going to use words in place of other things that signify certain things. NFL, playing in the NFL or football in general, which obviously I learned at a young age when I played Pee Wee, even high school football. All right. You build a different, your call outs of plays are done in a different language, obviously.
Right. It's not even, it's English words, but it ain't English, bro.
Yeah, bro. What the fuck are you talking about? Get the fuck out of here. That's like the most asinine thing you ever said, Mark. I'm disappointed in you.
Yeah, and it's not even funny as a joke.
Yeah, do better.
Yeah, do better, man. Like seriously, like
Jesus
watch some
Christ.
videos on how to make jokes, man. By the way, my freeze game is on point today, Ali. Look where I got Mike McDaniel frozen at.
I know that's funny. That's funny.
That's great, man. We ought to, that has to be clipped, bro. Like that's got to be memed some way.
So
Oh, I
Adam
know what it is.
Sadowski is saying no, he
He's
doesn't
looking-
understand English. He only speaks German.
He's looking at the barbecue that Lewis is standing over with his cooking folk apron on. He's like, I want some of that stuff, that folk that Lewis is cooking.
Well, actually, it's funny you mentioned that, Mark, because today I heard there are reports where Eichenberg has actually done that a lot better. Now, it's not perfect, but he's definitely getting better, and progression is being seen, not just by our coaches, not just by myself, but actually by various different people that attended camp and is actually there, and actually said exactly what they saw. So thank you for sharing that. But obviously, it actually starts to look, better. And I've also words have been told, or not words have been told. What am I saying? I've been also under the understanding that Teron Armstead has been coaching him on the sideline as well. Even though Teron Armstead can play, he's been cleared and everything, they're slowly progressing him in, and meanwhile he's helping coaching the other guys. So that's awesome.
Right. All right. As much as I love my freeze game, I have to keep playing. I have to press play now.
Go ahead.
That was pretty good freeze right there. Anyway, here we go.
Austin being, he was out longer. I got to see less of him, and it's been exciting for him, because what he hasn't done, what you're fearful of, case in point, you guys are all, I know there's several guys that are very locked into one-on-one pass rush, and what happens to young offensive linemen, especially when they're in an important year of their career, is you go and set on somebody and it doesn't work. It actually is quite the opposite. You get up and under or do something like that. Typically, the response is, okay, I'm not doing that again. And where he's at is he can turn and have a football conversation with myself, Frank, Butcher, Lem, or Mike Judge. He can have a football conversation of what just happened so that he can do the technique he just did better. He's flashed some really good things. And then there's been great teaching done by the defense when he hasn't done things correctly. So he continues to get better. He is a better player than he was last week. And that's where I'm at with really all those guys. We have a lot of competition across the board in the offensive line room. So everyone's having to really go after it, which is a cool thing as a coach to witness. And right now we are in practice 7 of and we have 3 opportunities to practice against each other before we practice against an opponent.
So I just want to say, Ali, I think that part right there was an absolute, exactly how an example of how you've criticized one of your players publicly.
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice the language he used about, then you teach and then you this and that? And it's like, that's like Dan Campbell needs to watch this video and learn something, bro. That's all I was trying to say yesterday. Like, yeah, you got to get after your players. I'm not going to hold that against Dan Campbell, but there's a way when you're speaking publicly of one of your players and you need to criticize them. This is how you do it right here.
Yeah, I agree. The way Dan Campbell came off talking about his wide receiver, it kind of undermines what he's trying to do. You're trying to get a point across and, hey, you need to work on this and fix it. but I kind of think he did more damage than actually fix it. You know what I mean? Or get the point across is basically what I'm trying to say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because right there, he just basically said, "Yo, he had some good plays and then he fucked up."
Mhm.
But it didn't sound like that's what he was saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know, he had some good plays and then there was a teaching moment. You know what I mean? And you know,
Yeah.
I mean, that's just good stuff right there. I mean, kudos to McDaniel, even though, you know, obviously the bloviating is ridiculous, but whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. 72. He's like, he says, Culler, I think people tune out after the no one knows what he said.
Yeah, and listen, no disrespect to Dan Campbell. I think he's a phenomenal, football coach. The guy looks and plays the part perfectly. I honestly think he was born to be a football coach. No joke, right? Um, but even I understand that there are certain ways to say things, and there's certain times to say things publicly versus privately, right?
Right.
Publicly, he could have said a little bit longer. Yeah, we're working with them. There's progression. We got some teaching moments here and there, but we'll get there. It'll be fine. Not just say, you know what, he might be able to catch the ball, but it may not look elite or anything. But at least he has his speed. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
what, are you trying to say he can't catch the ball? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
There's there's certain ways to say things, and that's basically my point. Is like privately, he could have said, "Dude, come on, dude, I need you to work for me and actually catch the damn fucking ball." That's what he
Exactly.
should say privately. But
Exactly.
publicly, just say it in a way that it sounds like it'll be okay, but enough for the other guy to understand.
Right. Exactly.
So,
All right. So we will continue with the snooze fest.
So that's what we're focused on today for him.
Apologize for that. I don't think there are many people who have had a better camp than Christian Wilkins. Every day he seems like he splashes. The fact he's putting on this kind of performance in a contract year, what does it say about him that he's out there? Some of his peers are holding out. He's out there playing his butt off.
No, it's
For those that couldn't hear, the question was, how do you feel about the fact that Christian Wilkins is still out there in camp showing out, even though he hasn't got the contract he wanted yet, whereas some of his peers, he's not playing the whole holdout game and all that. What do you think about the fact that he's showing up still?
Classic Christian. He goes about his daily business and gets satisfaction on earned things. He doesn't. That's not in him. I think his teammates appreciate that. They know that when he comes to work, they're going to get his energy, and we've learned to count on that.
I wanted to address something, bring up old stuff that happened a week ago, but I really just want your thought process. Thursday's practice, there was a heavy blitz practice from Vic. Does Vic have those conversations with you before the practice, or does he like surprise?
So there's that can happen organically in like a non-scripted period, depending on what the emphasis of that day is. When it comes to periods like that, that's pre-planned, so that guys can have a legitimate, so coaches can prepare guys just in general about, all right, and it's said like on the practice phase. So that period you're speaking of was a pressure period, and that allows for us to work on the stuff that gives us issues with pressure, as opposed to just throwing plays out there, so that both sides can be challenged appropriately. That way, it's just like calling it a game. What are you going to call when you're expecting pressure, or what is not going to get called because you're fearful of the result of pressure. Those two things get planned into it, which is why you have a period of it. It's so that you can really get better on both sides, and you kind of know what's coming.
Saturday scrimmage.
Do you want to make any comments on that, Ali? Ali, you're dead. All right, we'll move on.
What would you be looking for from Tua in particular, outside of the ordinary?
Sorry, I was on mute, Culler.
Right on. Did you want to say anything about his comments about Christian Wilkins?
No, exactly what he said is what I think Christian Wilkins is doing the right thing. Actually, I think he's going to have a hell of a year this year because he's doing things that people say that he had issues with. And what does that equate with? Sacks. He is sacking up a storm so far in this training camp. And if that correlates to in the games and we start seeing that, then he definitely did the right thing and it's going to pay out for him. And it's good for the team too, because he knows that how important this year is for us and he's going to keep rocking and rolling with it. You know what I mean? So, Culler, are you there or did I lose you?
Nope, you got me. So the next question coming up was what is Mike McDaniel? What does he expect to see from Tua for the scrimmage coming up this Saturday? That was the question for those that couldn't hear it.
Oh, okay.
Really in a scrimmage setting, you get to change the atmosphere. You get to there's extra people in the stands. You just get to ramp up in the progression, and in those moments, you want to see someone live in what they've been working on. Anytime, by happenstance, a situation comes up that, which almost every day in practice it does, where this is similar to a situation we've had before. The coaching development and scrimmage games is a wonderful opportunity to see where guys are at and to coach, because if anything changes from or deviates from the plan or what we've been talked about, you can bring it up. And then if it doesn't, that's empowering. It's solidified. So just any little detail that you can kind of change things up, I think there's valuable coaching things to see, and that's what I want to see from him and a lot of other guys that way too.
Is that how he tells his players they fucked up? He's like, oh. They
every
come
time
back to the sideline and he's like,
Tyreek probably comes by when he didn't make the catch. What the fuck was that? No, I'm just kidding.
Waddle comes off the field. He gets the extra long one.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Mark, if you're going to insult people by calling them a moron, you probably want to spell realtor correctly. Just saying. But I digress.
Maybe he should go to Notre Dame and understand the English language. Just saying.
How do you think that might help him, and will you look for any of that Saturday?
Wait, let me replay that question.
I think that might help him.
See, and that's what I want to see from him and a lot of other guys that way too.
All the muscle he's put on. How do you think that might help him, and will you look for any of that Saturday?
Pause.
What a dumb
Who
question.
is it?
It sounded
Who is it
like
they're asking?
Sounded like Darlington, but I couldn't tell.
No. Who are they talking about? They said all I hear is, Tua. So Tua put the muscle on. Okay. Right, keep going. Sorry.
It's like a guy puts muscle on. How do you think that's going to help him be a football player? Oh, I don't know. I mean, really, what a freaking damn rhetorical question, man. Like, seriously.
Actually, it's not Darlington. It's what's his name? The guy who does all the these are the emergency exits at the games. Travis Wainfield.
Wainfield, yeah.
I think it's Wainfield.
I mean, I'm sorry. Like, really, do better, whoever that is asking that question. Like, you couldn't come up with nothing more in depth than how does muscle help a football player get better? Okay, well, we'll listen to the answer because I'm sure Mike McDaniel's got an answer for it.
This is a Captain Obvious question.
Right, exactly.
Keep going.
Arm wrestling competitions. He's less prone to defeat.
Well, there you go. Apparently, Mike McDaniel thought the same thing we did about the question. You know, like
Oh my
arm
God.
wrestling competitions. That's how it'll help him, Molly.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
There's unintended consequences. He really took his training on his body serious this offseason for a multitude of reasons. And I've seen various things where there's just he has a little more short area explosiveness where you're able to manipulate yourself in the pocket at a more explosive rate. He's also I don't know this to be fact, but it appears by my layman's eye that he has more pitches in his arsenal. Like he can layer stuff and drive it just with even more command than he's.
Yeah, that's called an arm, Mike. It don't take a layman's eye to see it. It's called an arm.
Yep, I agree with that.
Pretty adept at considering his accuracy. So I think it just overall helps him feel prepared and execute a lot of things. And the residuals are apparent and various.
I wanted to ask about the QB.
Well, I'm glad he was able to muddle out an answer for that obvious question, but yeah, he's right. The guy, and that's what I've always harped on too. It gives him the ability to make a little more of the throws that you can't have perfect mechanics on. And again, even with perfect mechanics, when your arm is when you've got strength in your arm and your wrist and your shoulder, it does give you the ability, like he said, to kind of add pitches to your repertoire. Like you can layer stuff. You get a little more command of the football post flight, but post hand, like after it leaves your hand, with what you're able to do with your arm and your wrist, instead of relying on just hip rotation and catapulting the ball, so yeah. I mean, that's where it's going to help Tua out a lot. And if Mike's noticing that with what he claims to have a layperson's eye, which is kind of striking for an NFL head coach to say. I wouldn't expect his eye to be a layman's eye, but whatever. I think he just misspoke there. But anyway, yeah, you're going to be able to, make those throws that are like, wow, look at that. How does a person do that? Because there's certain physics when it comes to a football that if you really are a good thrower, you can manipulate certain things about time and space and physics where it's like, yeah, you can do things with that oval shaped leather football that's got little knobs all over it and some laces. It is going to do certain things physically, as an object. You know what I mean? So the strength in the arm like that gives you the ability to do a lot more of those things, be more dynamic with those types of football throwing physics. So that's kind of what he's trying. I don't know how I made it a longer way to say it than he did, but I successfully outlonged Mike McDaniel in his answer. But I still gave you way more information than he did.
Back in there. Yeah. And that's the segment for Professor Culler.
Oh, man, I had to make it interesting some way. I mean, this guy, he can bloviate, man. I'll tell you what. But I did like his clapback answer about, basically when you're saying, well, arm wrestling competitions, he's acknowledging the fact that the question was a stupid freaking question. Like, how else
yes, he did
help a football player? You know what I mean? Sweep the floors? I don't know. What?
I don't know. Maybe he's there to move the equipment around and make sure he picks up everyone's equipment to be washed. I have no idea.
Right.
Do competition with Mike and Skyler. Just from your experience, are you looking for anything from those two guys, or the backups in particular, than you would maybe a starter competition? Because anything change, you just all kind of use that.
It's an interesting question because there is what's unique.
So for those that you couldn't hear the question, Daniel Oyefusi asked if there's a difference in the way they look at competitions. He suggested the quarterback 2 competition between Skyler and Mike White and asked, do you look at those competitions at QB2 differently than you would a competition at QB1? That was the actual question.
About the quarterback position, there's so much stuff going on. You touch the ball every play, and if you're off, it fails. So one thing with guys at the quarterback position competing is I find you have to be even more resistant to making assumptions, determinations. You have to let it play out longer because so many all of a sudden things can click and your game changes a lot. There's a lot of things that they've been coached in the past, and having an idea of what exactly we're trying to get done. Sometimes you don't know why someone's not completing something. And then all of a sudden it becomes second nature, and they'll do it 3 times in a row, and you'll ask them why. And it was because they were thinking about it in an inverse way, like very, very, very common. So you kind of have to be a little more patient with the process and let it all play out at that position, because as soon as you predetermine one thing, next day some guy will light it up.
Coach, Chris Greer went on the radio the other day and talked about the idea of bringing in Eli Apple and talking to Tyreek Hill.
Any comment on that, Ali?
I think it just solidifies to me and you that this quarterback battle for QB2 hasn't even started yet.
Exactly.
I want to say
said what we've been saying in a different way. Exactly.
Yeah, he described a situation where it may look one way one day and it looks a different way the next day. They're looking for people, different things that, how they identify things and whatnot, and are they getting it and whatnot. It almost sounds like, it almost sounds kind of like Culler, like neither guy is getting it, to be honest. I don't know. In my opinion, the battle hasn't even happened, to be honest.
Well, I don't know about neither guy getting it, but what he's really saying is because they're backups and you're not focusing everything on them, and like you would a QB1, the process has to play out longer because your chance to see what they would do in every situation, in every scenario, in every scheme, everything you got going on in the playbook, your chances of seeing all that are limited. It takes longer to play out to see just how consistent a guy is.
But he also, I meant
like
by
Mike White might be tearing it up, but is he consistent to do that over a certain period of time?
But what I was talking about was he says something to the fact that they see things in a different inverse way, right? And what I mean by getting it is like it's not like here's the play and they just automatically understand it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they need to take the time in a sense to stop. Like, hey, listen, how did you see that? Okay, well, this is really what you need to look at for, and if this, then what? You know what I mean?
Right.
And they're not gonna do that in practice at all, just like they did last year. They're gonna wait till after practice to correct all the problems. They got people sitting there taking notes and everything, and they have video, and then they're gonna go back and review. Okay, you have issues with this. What do you see? Tell me why. And they're gonna do it, not in front of everybody. So.
And if there's an equal at the end of it. Like if all things are equal, then they have to look at, okay, well, you both have an equal number of deficiencies, right? But those deficiencies aren't the same, generally speaking, because humans are all different, right? So those number of deficiencies might be equal number, but they end up making a choice on a certain guy because his deficiencies don't affect us in what we do, or wouldn't affect us in his limited role as a backup. Where in a QB1 competition, everything matters because the QB is, like he said in the beginning, the QB1 is taking the snap every single play. So when he's off, the whole play fails. So if you're talking about a QB1 being consistent as opposed to a QB2, it's going to take you longer to know whether a QB2 is a consistent guy or not, or whether his deficiencies are going to ruin your team or not affect it at all. Because let's say if I had a problem handing the ball off with my left hand to the fullback at that short a distance. Well, okay. Are we ever going to can we eliminate that from our game plan and only have me do it with my right hand to the fullback whenever we need to hand off to the fullback? Is that going to really affect our game? No, probably not. So, whereas the other guy who's only has one deficiency, just like me, except he can't throw the ball. You know what I mean? Or whatever, so you could have an equal number of deficiencies. It depends on how those deficiencies affect what we're doing for a QB2. You know what I mean? When he jumps in a game in an emergency situation, is his deficiency going to cause us to lose a game? And that's the guy that's going to be relegated to QB3 or cut if we don't carry a third, which I don't see us not carrying a third, but What do you think, Ollie? Anything else on that? It looks like we're rolling through this thing pretty quickly, man. We only got about 3.5 minutes left.
Yeah, this will probably be my last question I get to listen to. I agree with your sentiment, what you're saying. Like I said, I don't think the battle really has happened yet. I think right now it's a lot more of, hey, we need to fast track Mike White so he has a better understanding of the playbook, so we can have
it's
more
a
of an
fair
equal
competition when the competition does start up.
Yeah, and in addition to it, based on the NFL rules, I really think we're keeping three quarterbacks, bro. That's what I feel.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
So, regardless of what people think. But go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just saying we're about 12 minutes out from 2 hours anyway, Ali. So I think when we finish this up, you can cut it loose whenever you need, even if it's not finished. But I'll make some parting comments and answer some questions in chat and probably wrap it up anyway. But appreciate you hanging around as long as you have, bro.
Yeah, this will be my last question, and then I gotta cut it off because I gotta help the wife and spend time with the family a little bit.
Back it up a little bit so I get the question.
Patient with the process and let it all play out at that position, because as soon as you predetermine one thing, next day some guy will light it up.
Coach, Chris Greer went on the radio the other day and talked about the idea of bringing in Eli Apple and talking to Tyreek Hill ahead of time and chemistry and building a roster. I know fans often think like it's a Madden type of situation where you plug guys in, but I wanted to hear your perspective on the idea of building the right type of roster and making sure chemistry is right.
Yeah, it's
for those that didn't hear, the question was about bringing in Eli Apple. It not being like Madden where you can just plug a guy in, and how does that affect chemistry, or how did he take possible chemistry into consideration when picking up Eli Apple?
I am I've fallen victim of it as well in my life. It's one of the things I think is valuable of remembering all those moments as a fan, and remembering all those moments when I was a college player before I got coaching, that these are a collection of human beings. that are that have all the ills and all the strengths of all of us. So when you and ultimately players end up shaping what your team looks like. The players are the culture, and when you're adjusting something that's so significant to their lives, which is the locker room, you treat it like human beings in every sense, and how that's going to affect other human beings. So I think we think a lot about the residual effects of um, in the whole development of the team, because we're recognizing that these are human beings, individuals that are all affected by things as well. So I think it's important to remember that human scope in the whole process.
As we always preach around here at the Fins Tailgate, these aren't robots. They're not, computer algorithms. They are people, and they have life issues and stuff that affects their ability to do things and perform and do other things and come to practice on time and all that other stuff. And they may not like each other. There's always that. Any comments on that, Ali, before I continue?
I don't like you, Culler, but I'm here. I got to come to work.
No, we do it every morning. We get the show going, and as long as you wake up,
I'm messing around with you, Culler. I like it. I'm just messing around. So.
Oh, I know. I was trying to keep it going.
I got you. But anyway, no, I don't. I understand what he's saying, and it's I would be worried if like there was a question that got asked during the XM Sirius XM radio about how he admittedly called Tyreek and verified how he thought about it beforehand. I'd be worried if my GM didn't do that kind of stuff, to be honest.
Right.
You know what I mean? Ultimately, it's his decision, whatever he decides. But I like the fact that he's trying to work things out with his players and kind of get their perspective on needs and wants and all that kind of stuff, and it helps the whole cohesiveness of the entire team work together and work as a family almost. You know what I mean? Because they're going to be working and be in the trenches together, and you got to make sure that they have compatibility and and that they're willing to work together and everything. There's a lot of things that go into a team of this size in this type of sport that people don't realize.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Selection of the orange jersey recipient, or is it strictly about practice performance?
It is about practice.
So the question was asked for Mike to comment on the nature of the orange jersey recipient every day and the symbolism involved with it.
Practice performance that day. There are underlying things. As a team, it's you're writing your own story each and every day. So, and within that story, there are things that go on all the time that the team's very privy to. And when someone is able to make certain plays based upon coaching or based upon, hey, maybe they messed something up earlier, and then that factors in as well. But it is solely about somebody that epitomizes what we're trying to do that day. So the jersey is really a reflection of what our team wants and that person's effort that day. It doesn't mean that they were perfect or that they had the statistically greatest day ever. It's about doing their job that day and how it affects the team. And also you got to be the DJ. So, and the one thing that all the players know is we don't have any time for people, their opinions really about, your DJ set list, because if they don't like the music, then just be the orange jersey winner, flat out. So as much as it behooves me, there's some musical selections that I'm not super excited about, but if I want to do something about it, I better win the orange jersey today.
That's fairly clever, because it's like, you know, or if let's say you're a guy, you want Noah to perform, so you just find out what music he hates the most. So when it's your jersey day, you play that music, so he'll want to ball out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, actually, that reminds me. That kind of makes me think about something. Could Mike McDaniel, since he said, "Hey, if I don't like the music, you know, I just got to win the orange jersey that day," could he be saying that coaches could win the orange jersey?
That's what I was just. I kind of got the same thing out of that. Yeah.
I don't think it would be a bad idea, if you know what I mean.
Like he was putting a signal out to the players. You know, you could vote for me too.
Yeah, or Vic Fangio or somebody like that, or even, you know, who's been talked about a lot lately, and the offensive, you know, with the offensive line, and you've seen his style of coaching now, and it's starting to impress some people. Butch Berry, for example. You know what I mean? That he might be somebody that eventually could win it. You know what I mean? It's interesting. So just putting it out there.
I think
I think we should put in a suggestion and be like, hey, I think coaches should win it for a certain day or whatnot, you know? Just saying.
Right. I think this may have brought us to the end of the process. Yep, he grabbed his water. He's gone. See you later, Mike.
Bye,
Good
Mike.
job putting us all to sleep.
Let me know who won the arm wrestling contest. You or Tua.
I mean, he totally buzz-killed the stream, bro. We were rocking like 50-some people. Now there's like 22 people here. All because of Mike McDaniel putting everybody to sleep.
Yeah, maybe.
Man, I don't feel like doing a panel. I got an errand to run here in about an hour or so. I don't want to get stuck on a panel, man.
Yeah. But Culler, I do have to bounce. I'd like to say thank you for having me on your show.
Sure.
And you know, I unfortunately couldn't top the tailgate because I had to work super late.
Right on.
But thank you all, and
I
make
appreciate
sure
you coming by, bro. Having somebody to chop up with about this press conference. I thought I'd have more to say about it, but there really ain't much to say about it, you know?
Well, Shake Money is here.
What's going on? What's going on? Hey, check this out, man. I was looking in the mirror this morning, right?
Man in the mirror?
And I noticed I had man boobs. So, in honor of my man boobs, I did this.
Nice. that's special, Shake. Now you just got to get a flak jack.
Culler, I'm disappointed in you, Culler. Culler, I'm disappointed in you. You should have hit the breaking news. Breaking news. Shake Money has man tits.
I know, right?
And by the way, a Buffalo Bill fan with man tits is considered a female Buffalo Bill fan.
Oh, okay. All right. Interesting.
Just so you know.
I have a question, Shake Money, because you're the one that brought this subject to the floor here. My question for you is, have you had thoughts about Dan Marino's man tits?
All the time.
Okay. That's funny.
Especially when I watch Ace Ventura.
Oh, fun stuff.
Hell yeah. So what's going
Anyways,
on,
gentlemen,
right,
I do have to go. Thank you for having me. We will have top of the tailgate tomorrow in the morning, for sure. And appreciate everyone that came to hung out and everything. But fins up.
Right on.
Later.
Take it easy, Ollie. Thank you again.
You too. You guys have a great day.
I did put the link out there in case anybody wants to come up and make a comment about the press conference, but we'll wait a second if nobody comes up or a couple people, whatever. But I don't have the time to run a long panel. If you've got any kind of time, Shake, and had something to say and want to hear people, that's fine too. But I will shut it down as soon as everybody doesn't have time to sit here anymore.
Yeah,
course, we got, the one guy that takes the bait is freaking Mark, who's straight insulting Dolphins realtor all over the place today.
Hey, man.
And Lewis, but we'll see. What are you gonna say, Mark? How you
No,
doing?
I just wanted to agree with Shake. The only difference between a Bills fan with man tits and their women at the game is that the women look much better, the men look much better because they have makeup on.
Damn.
I will say you have a much more attractive fan base at the games than the Bills fans do. The Bills women are about 160 to 220 with a 40-ouncer hanging out of their back pocket and a bratwurst in their grill. So I like your selection of fans much better.
Well, we just have more melanin in our women.
Must be.
Makes all the
good show today, guys. I know the press conference was a little agonizing, but I think every coach's press conference is coupled with a combination of bad questions, evasive answers, and the quickest chance to grab their water and run like hell.
Yeah,
man.
Hey, Cap, what's up?
Can you turn off the burner, please? Thank you.
So, what's up, Cap? How you doing?
What's going on, boys? Talk to me, man. Give me the sauce, bro. I've been up and about the whole day. I've been catching up with everybody, but I'm hearing mixed reviews as far as with Bradley Chubb. Is he okay?
I believe he's okay, Cap. But excuse me, fellas, real quick. But you know how Mark always comes up here and says, "Hey guys, I have a question." Well, let me ask a question, because I heard some interesting things today coming out of Bill's camp. And supposedly Michael K tells me that Dalton Kincaid is supposed to be this all-time world tight end that no one's ever seen before. But supposedly all reports are saying that he can't block a lick, that the man is absolutely trash in that area. So, Mark, can you please talk to me about your all-pro tight end, Dalton Kincaid, please?
That's a first-round pick, right?
Absolutely.
That's your
First of all,
first-round pick?
Yeah, he's a first-round pick. First of all, he's not a tight end. He was never drafted to be a tight end, and he's not an inline blocker. That's what Dawson Knox is there for. He's a slot receiving matchup.
Oh, so now he's a slot. So that now when they drafted him, he was a
That's
slot
what he was.
receiver
If you
matchup.
Lewis,
he ain't a tight end, then he must be a loose end.
Yeah, exactly, Culler. I didn't know they had.
Now I don't know about that, but if you find out, please let me know.
Well, listen,
Hey, Mark,
I did hear. Hold on, I did hear from Mark from the beginning. He said he wasn't a tight end; he was more of a weapon. That's what. Mark said.
Yeah. Well, Mark can come up with all the excuses Shake he wants to. I just want to know when was the last time anybody heard in the draft the Bills select a weapon.
They don't designate it as that. They don't, Lewis. They don't designate it as that. If you listen to any of Brandon Beane and Sean, yeah, I will if I can finish, please. As soon as you're done talking, I'll be glad to finish. Are you done?
I'm trying to ask what position he plays for you, Mark.
I'm trying to answer a question, but you keep talking, so I'm not going to answer a question while you're going to try to talk over me.
You must have been a Dolphin fan for real, because you moved the goalposts better than a lot of people in this community. I'm asking you what position he plays, Mark. It's real quick. It's a quick answer. He's a
wide. He is a large wide receiver with great hands and foot.
Oh, okay.
When did that happen?
Oh, hey, Lewis, just to correct you, I never said that Kincaid was going to be this all-pro tight end wide receiver. That was Mark.
I didn't say
Damn,
you,
it's
Michael
like,
K. I'm saying
what's
Mark.
up with it? It's
I'm
like
not saying
Niagara
you.
Falls
I
up
said
in this
Mark.
bitch today with Buffalo fans, man.
I'm sorry, Lewis. Kincaid won't get as much playing time as Mark thinks he's going to get, especially according to Brandon
Michael
Beane.
K. Exactly, Michael K.
Well,
That's the point that we're trying to get at.
every Buffalo YouTuber with that I listen to says he's about to get 90. He's about to get 90
back,
targets.
baby. Every Buffalo YouTuber, and you call yourself a football expert.
I look at films on Kincaid and I watch and I see what I see from training camp, And I see that Kincaid hasn't missed the pass.
I'm confused now. This is Bills on Bills crime.
Well, I
So
told
it
you from the
seems to
beginning,
me
Mark.
Let it
that
happen.
Kincaid's going to
I
be a
told
guy
you
who's
from the
going to take up
beginning,
a lot of
Mark.
those 107 targets that aren't
Mark,
there from last year from players
Mark,
that have gone off the roster.
Mark, I told
So,
you.
so in
what's
other
the
words,
kid-
Mark,
Hold on, Mike.
you're so,
Hold on, Mike. What's the kid's name? Dalton Kincaid?
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Okay, okay, Mark, I'm sorry, but I told you before, and I'll tell you again, that is not a football name. You should have seen this coming, bro.
Is Tyreek Hill a football name, or is that the name of a common criminal?
Name. It sounds like a football name, but it's not actually a football name. Okay.
Hey,
As I
Culler,
said, is Tyreek Hill a football name, or is it the name of a common criminal?
And yes, Tyreek Hill is an excellent football name.
Hey, Culler, what
Tyreek Hill.
position?
And
Culler, what
a
position?
domestic abuser on top of it. Congratulations.
Culler,
At least
what
he has a
Domestic
dual
abuser
career.
of whom? Domestic abuser of whom?
Well, his pregnant girlfriend that he punched in the stomach and shoved.
And you have proof of that? And you have proof of that?
No, we have his confession.
Oh, we have his confession. I'm
Culler,
sorry, I
can you
missed
tell
that
me?
one.
Culler, can you tell me
you
what
must have.
position they have next to Dalton Kincaid's name? Can you please tell me that, Culler?
I don't really know, to be honest with you, because I don't follow guys with bad football names.
I agree.
It's supposed to be a tight end, right?
Michael K, what is Dalton Kincaid, Michael K?
Muting because I'm peeing. Hold on, I'll be right back.
On us. He's
Bro,
giving
why
up
can't
on us
nobody
because
answer
I'm
that
resorting
question?
to the.
Now I'm curious. What the
resorting
hell
to
is
the
it?
name.
Because they don't designate it in the draft as anything. You're either a wide receiver or a tight end. They don't designate you as. They designate you at what position group you work out with it at the combine.
Hey, Cap for life. Mark used to shit on us with Mike Gesicki all the time, but funny, now he has a Mike Gesicki, and he's the second coming of Jerry Rice now, supposedly. He's the next great
No, we actually have a young developing Travis Kelce is what the Bills have.
They don't have a young.
Travis Kelce, the man can't block, but now he's Travis Kelce. The fuck are
Travis
you talking
Kelce
about,
hasn't
Mark?
blocked anybody in 10 years.
You know what?
He chip blocks. Obviously, you don't watch football, Mark. You claim to know all this about all these players, but you always see Travis Kelce pitch blocking.
And Kincaid's going to chip block too, but he's more.
Really?
He's a lot. He is way more of a receiving threat than he is as a tight end, and that was put up by the Buffalo management right at the time of the draft.
Okay, so you get all your information off all these Buffalo YouTubers, but yet when Brandon Beane was on McAfee yesterday, and McAfee asked him how much Kincaid was going to play, Beane pretty much said, "Not as much as you would think."
Okay,
so
Mark, I'm currently
we'll see what we see. We'll see if he gets 90 targets or not.
Mark, I'm currently looking at the Buffalo Bills website right now, and it has the player profile for Dalton Kincaid listed as number 86 tight end.
Right, and that's how he's going to be listed. What is Travis Kelce listed on the Kansas City Chiefs website?
Well,
he's
that's
listed
fine.
as a tight
I just
end.
don't understand why it was hard to answer Lewis's question. That was just
so you're hoping that Kincaid can be your next Kelce? Is that what you're hoping? That's why you're hyping him up?
That's what the objective is. That was the reason for drafting him.
Listen to this shit.
They also have him listed as janitor for some reason. I don't know why that's on here.
Yeah, that's what all reports coming out of Buffalo. They do use him as a janitor color because obviously, so what a surprise! An NFL player can catch a football, but other than that, the man is absolute dog shit. And Brandon Beane, Michael K. just told you. Brandon Beane even said as much yesterday. Their prize and joy, their pick, right, won't even get on the field because he's
Hold on a minute. It gets better, Lewis. In Josh Allen's press conference today, they had a question about Dalton Kincaid, and Josh Allen said, well, we're working on timing right now. You know, he's a good kid, but it remains to be seen. Essentially saying, you know what, he's not going to get as much playing time as all these Buffalo podcasters believe he's going to get because they don't know anything better anyways.
Just like Mark has been telling us and trolling us.
Yep, that's why you just so loved on the Dolphin pages. Yep. Okay.
Well, Mark, start cooking us. You claim to be the best cooker around. We're still waiting, buddy.
I'm so confused right now.
We all have to wait for the regular season to see how everything plays out.
This guy, I don't
We
know.
don't know.
about
We
this
don't
guy.
know what any draft choice is going to do.
Get 'em,
If you listen to the Dolphin fans, it's all about A-Chain and what a spectacular
needs to
player
grow.
he's going to be and
He
what he's
needs to
going to
grow.
be.
Okay,
Yo,
Mark,
hold on. This kid needs to grow some pubes long before he's ever going to be a Travis Kelce, man. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Hold on. Mark just said it's all about Dolphins fan and A-Chain, and he's going to be this, he's going to be that. But yeah, Mark's saying the same thing about Kincaid. Isn't that the same exact thing, Mark?
I'm saying
Isn't that
that
the
he's
same exact
projected.
thing?
Is Mike okay? Yes, he is.
Every rookie is exactly the same thing.
Oh,
Until
no.
they get on the
You're
field and
telling
prove
us
it, they're
he's the
all the
next
same
Travis
thing.
Kelce. You're telling us he's the next
No,
Travis Kelce.
No, what I said specifically was they drafted him to become a Travis Kelce-like player. That's exactly what I said. Open your
He's got
ears
a
and shut
lot
your
of beard.
mouth.
He's got a lot of beard to grow to get there, bro. That's all I'm gonna say.
So we don't know what any rookie is going to do until the regular season starts.
Oh, no.
So
You're
all of
telling
them are in
us
the
that
same.
he's going
All
to
of them are in the same boat.
You're telling us he's.
Mark, have you not been trolling us in the chat and been preaching, pumping your little bird chest out, saying that Dalton Kincaid is the next big thing in Buffalo? You have not been saying that, Mark?
I think Dalton Kincaid is going to be the next thing, but until they get on the field to prove it, we can just make projections. It's no different from any Dolphin fan saying that A-Chain is going to be the number one running back and 1,200 yards, rushing in the year. So none of us know what's going to happen until the opening week of the season, and as we go through.
Except A-Chain actually looks like a man.
Exactly, and A-Chain's going to be on the field, and Dalton Kincaid's not. That's the difference. That's
We'll
what you're
see.
missing, Mark.
You realize how much of this is just chatter to take space.
This guy, no, seriously, Mark. From having watched several seasons in the past of Hard Knocks, and looking at the guy that's
a
well,
real
let me
fella.
damn finish, man.
Hard
Put
Knocks
him
is
in back
nothing
while
but
I finish.
social
I'm gonna
media
put you in back
garbage,
while I finish.
and you know it.
I am the host today. Hold on a second. There we go. Now I'm
Get
gonna
him,
finish
Colin.
what I'm saying before I get interrupted. I've watched plenty of episodes of Hard Knocks, and the one thing I've noticed is when the coach is cutting players, right? There's always that feel-good story about the guy that lives in a trailer park with his freaking girlfriend, and they got a kid, and he might make it. And you look at his body type, and you're like, yo, this guy is not really a football player. And that's always the guy that gets cut. It don't matter how feel-good the story, the network makes the shit. Okay, Dalton Kincaid, I'm looking at the guy's mug, and I swear he looks like one of those types, man. I'm just saying, bro. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it means anything. I'm not saying it's the measure of everything. I'm just saying he looks like that guy that's not really going to have a shot, bro. Sorry y'all wasted a draft pick like that, but man.
Well,
Get
you could
him,
have
Color.
probably got him undrafted, man. To be honest with you.
Color. Get him.
Well, actually, I think the Cowboys are going to take him at 26, but that's only just about everybody's.
Well, the Cowboys are the accident waiting to happen, not to steal a great phrase from the great Stephen A. Smith.
And we don't want to talk. Color, you really shouldn't talk about wasted draft picks when you have Liam Eichenberg, Noah Igbenogany, and Austin Jackson.
Wait a minute. Did you just not hear the bloviating that I went through for the past hour and a half? Mike McDaniel clearly said that Liam Eichenberg is the next Richmond Webb. You heard him say that. Okay. And number two, Noah, okay, you don't just come around these parts, especially with Shake up on my panel. You don't just come around these parts throwing shade on Noah like that.
Damn right.
I'm not throwing shade on you, Noah. Your coaching staff has thrown.
All I know is when I was watching Noah, on Tuesday in camp, on Tuesday in camp during drills, I noticed something changed in his drilling when he's dropping back, doing their little jukey juke, and then they like catch the interception right, and they're all in line doing that shit right. There's one guy in that whole freaking group that you can count on his head dipping and his eyes following the ball all the way into his freaking forearm. And that's Xavier Howard, right? I've said it from the beginning. The dude is better than half the wide receivers in this league catching the football. Okay. Guess who started to dip his head, bro? like Mr. X. I saw it Tuesday. Tell him, Shake. Who is it? What's his name?
I got one even better. Hold on.
Gotta get Iggy with it, bro.
Oh, I don't have that one on my brand, Shake. I'm sorry. You have to switch brands, man.
Yeah, well.
The proprietor of the Ark itself, Mr. Noah, is him monogamy. Yeah.
Good.
So I'm just saying, you can't just act like Noah can't get better like anybody else in this freaking league, dude. There you go, Shake.
Well, 3 years is an NFL testimony about how long players last. And let me just ask you a serious question, not trolling here. If Noah was a 4th round pick, would he still be on the roster?
I don't know. Maybe.
How would they know that? How would they know that? Are they in the war room? Or do they sit in the coaches' meetings?
Well, not only that, but not only that, but maybe Noah is playing the same role that Myles Gaskin is. And you know how many times people have asked me that question about Myles Gaskin, Mark? Yet Myles Gaskin is still on the fucking team.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you this, Mark. What personnel is it when Dalton Kincaid is going to line up in the slot? What personnel is that?
That's going to be a 12 personnel because they're going to classify it as a 2 tight end formation.
That
but
is
he'll end up doing.
That is not. So you mean to tell me when Shalil Culler lines up in the slot? That's a 12 personnel.
No, it's a size issue. Dalton Kincaid is.
It has nothing to do with size. It has to do with formations. A tight end is when it's tight to the line.
It has what you're going to do with mismatches on the field. Kincaid is a mismatch player, and which is what Travis Kelce is. Because if you'll notice, Kansas City also plays a tight end, and Kelsey's a flex tight end that goes out and is a receiver.
Do they call it 12 personnel? No, they don't.
In Kansas City, I'm not sure what they call it.
Well, it's not a 12 personnel. 12 personnel is a 2 tight end set. Just because a person has
Knox is still going to be the tight end in Buffalo. It's where they choose to flank out Kincaid. I mean, they were doing things they like running Knox on an end around.
As much as I love my Dolphins content, bro, this is pretty.
Bro, like take that somewhere else.
No. This is golden watching these two eat each other alive. I think this is great Miami Dolphins content. I don't know what y'all are. I don't know why everybody hates watching it so much. I love it.
Mark seems to think he's the encyclopedia of the NFL, but he doesn't even know that when Kincaid is flexed out. Hold on, because Greg Olsen actually, when he redid his contract extension, he didn't get paid as a tight end. He got paid as a wide receiver because he was in the slot when they ran 11 personnel. But if you would study everybody around the NFL, you would understand what they're saying.
After 5 years, then Kincaid will be reclassified as a wide receiver. He's not going to develop into a blocking tight end. He was never designed to be a blocking tight end.
After 5 years, he's going to be reclassified?
We got another Bills fan here, Fred Dunlap. What's going on?
What's up, Paddle, man?
Well, first of all, I said 5 years because he's a first-round draft choice, and first-round draft choices have a 5th-year option.
So why don't they classify him as a wide receiver right now? Number one, he can't be. He'll never be able to run 50 or 60 plays in a game.
I really wish I was at my desktop right now. I would pull up this guy's
He didn't seem to have any problems with that at Utah.
I'll get it for you.
Why is it? What's the difference? What's the difference?
Get it from the Buffalo Bills
He was running the
profile
majority of
page
snaps
for
at
him.
Utah, so why isn't he going to run the majority of snaps in Buffalo?
So we're about to take a look at the guy that one of these guys thinks should be tagged as a wide receiver, and he's currently tagged as a tight end. We're going to have a look at this guy real quick for us Dolphin fans who don't go to the Bills site and really care to look at their players. Y'all got to check out. So you have a visual. Hold on. So our audience has a visual reference of the gentleman that these two are debating about.
I need a visual, bro.
Yeah. Because before you start talking about tagging this guy a wide receiver, you got to look at the guy. I mean, come on, man.
Hey, cause I like to see these two guys go at it, man.
I go out there and play wide receiver before this fucking guy does, man.
Oh, quit it, Culler, man. Quit it.
Oh, no, bro. Wait till you see it, Fred.
All right, I'm putting it up now. So.
Uh-oh.
This is gonna be good.
So it's from the you want from the Bills website?
Yeah, that's the easiest one. That's the fresh, freshest signed jersey picture. Fresh in
Hey,
the
the Hall
building.
of Fame game, is that going to be on NFL Network or ESPN?
NBC.
I don't know.
NBC. Okay.
But you're gonna have to get NFL Plus if you want to watch all the preseason games, I suspect.
You can do that. It actually NFL Network's going to cover all 65 preseason games. It's just going to be some are going to be live, and then the rest of them are going to be on delay.
Well, yeah, of course, but that's what I mean. Like I'm talking about, like we only have 3 per team, so it's likely that we'll be able to see all of our games.
Oh yeah, sorry, it's 49 games. My apologies. You're right.
Right,
40,
right.
Yeah, it's 49 games.
Present.
I know,
Yeah,
and
that
most
week
teams
17,
like
which
ours,
makes no
most
sense.
teams like ours are going to have one of those 3 are going to be nationally televised. You know what I mean? Like we had,
Yeah, which
Let me ask
we
you a
always
question.
have
game is
Fox
getting
going
nationally
on.
televised?
Is it
What's
even
that?
relevant to watch ESPN anymore with football content?
What was that, Mark?
I don't think. Which Dolphin game is nationally televised?
For
There you go.
preseason, I don't know, but normally we have
Yeah, I don't
one of
know
them.
either.
Like a couple years back, it was the Jaguars, so it doesn't have to be an important team to be nationally televised. It's just they'll
No,
randomly
of course
select
not.
them. Yeah,
Okay,
that's who
what
we're
Kid
talking
Figure
about
looks like.
tagging a wide receiver. He probably wants to stick to tight end. Just to be honest with you, man.
Well, actually, Culler, it would be interesting if you pull up his film tape from the USC game last year, where he had 16 catches and 246 yards.
Bro, he's from Utah
would give you a
playing
profile
USC,
of what the
man.
man actually plays like.
He's from
All right,
Utah playing USC, bro.
Hey, Mark, how many times did you actually watch Dalton Kincaid play in a game last year, or in his first 3
I
years?
think I watched 8 games last year with
Bullshit.
Utah.
Okay, you watched 8 games. Okay, sure you did. Sure you did. You watched 8 games.
I mean, to be fair, Mike, he is in that TV market, being where he lives. You know what I mean? To be fair, that is who they'd probably put on his TV.
And very possible.
Forcefully.
Utah
So
plays a lot
it's
of
not like he
7:30
did
at
it by
night games
choice. He just was like, well, there's football on and it's Utah. You know.
Take it or leave it.
See, you know what, Color? The way you make it sound is USC and Utah played 8 times last year.
No, he played a Pac-12 schedule. I saw him against Stanford. I saw him against Cal. I saw him against BYU.
He must be out.
I watched
He
him.
must be out. He must be out by the Four Corners region if he's getting Utah games.
No, you get Utah games on ESPN's Pac-12 on Saturday nights.
Right, but they don't play Pac-12 over here in the East, bro.
Well, who cares what they do in the East? I don't live there.
That's what I was trying to tell everybody. Like, you must be up by the Four Corners region if they're giving you Utah games.
No, you're getting Pac-12 games. You get Pac-12 games. You get Mountain West Conference games. That's what you get at night. During the day, you get during the day, it's just going to be interesting because you're going to get the Big 12 games now. That's part of the new TV package. I think CBS is still going to have the SEC games, and then there's a weird mix of stuff that's going on with all the TV contracts and the conference reaffiliations.
And make sure you, while you're out there, make sure you visit the Navajo reservation. Make sure you bring a lot of booze. They like to party.
Yeah, I don't drink, so it doesn't matter.
Oh,
Maybe
dang.
you should start. You could use that as an excuse.
To be honest with you, Mark, neither do they. It's dry land.
Well,
I was trying to set you up.
Anyway, you can watch the films of Kincaid or not watch the films of Kincaid. We'll see what he does in regular season. We'll see what A-Chain does during regular
I don't
season.
even feel like watching the tape on Higgins, bro. It's making me think I'm gonna watch Buffalo tape.
Does A-Chain scare you, Mark? Does A-Chain scare you because of the lack of rush? I mean, like your run defense is kind of like basic.
Shit.
No, you make a good point. Look, if you look at last year's numbers, and this is the reason why some of the moves were made, they were giving up 3.4 yards on runs outside the tackles and 5.1 on runs between the tackles. That's one of the reasons that Ford was brought in, and that's one of the reasons why they got crushed by Cincinnati in the playoffs. was because Daquan Jones was out. Edmonds was not a particularly good tackler, run stuffer. He wasn't a downhill player. So they had to shift schemes when Edmonds left because they couldn't afford him. They couldn't afford that $18 million.
I don't hear any Buffalo take, man. I don't hear no
Edmonds left because they didn't want him. If they wanted him, they would have extended him in his 4th year. So nothing they
really
couldn't afford him. If they wanted him, if Edmonds was any good, they would have kept him no matter what.
I agree, Michael. They didn't want him because he couldn't do the things they expected him to be able to do. I was disappointed. I thought he was going to be hot stuff coming out of college, and he just never really did anything.
No. You know what, Mark? No.
Can I say something?
And now you think Kincaid's going to be hot stuff. Wow. Okay.
Hey, Culler.
You guys think A-Chain's going to be hot stuff, so we'll see which one of us is right.
Hey, Culler, can I say something about the middle linebacker Edmonds, man?
Maybe, Fred. I think maybe you might be able to say something.
Yeah, Culler, this isn't going to make me a Buffalo Bills fan either, man. You know.
All right.
Okay.
I don't. Hey, you never heard me say that. I don't think you're a Buffalo.
No, you haven't, Culler. But you know what I mean, though, Culler.
Fred, spit it out.
Hold on, Shake, man. But hold up, man. To these two guys, man. For these two guys, like, okay, man. I always thought, man, if the Bills are a top 5 defense for 3 years, probably like 3 years straight, Edmonds had been doing something good, man. That's all I say. That's all.
Edmonds had the capability of having length, so he created some mismatches in the passing game. But he couldn't cover wide receivers, he couldn't cover tight ends, and he didn't make any turnover-worthy plays.
Okay, and like what games are you talking about? Are you talking about championship games against Mahomes? Because nobody's going to do that. Are you going to talk about the game against Burrow? Nobody's going to do that. So basically, man, you're only talking 2 games, man. If you could say that he didn't play well, if you could say, you know what I mean? If you could say that. But all year, man, this guy just does nothing but ball out. And I'm not being a Buffalo Bills fan, man. I go by players. I'm going by players.
He's a good player. He's not an $18 million a year player. Yeah,
it's all right, Fred. You're allowed to steel man an Edmonds, bro. His daddy played for us, bro. You're all right. Don't worry.
His dad.
If the Bills defense sucks, if the Bills defense sucks, and they're wasting Miami Dolphins alumni's son's football career, then you have every right to say call it out, bro. Don't worry.
Culler, who was his dad, man?
Farrell Edmonds, bro. Tight end.
Yeah, of course.
Dan Marino's tight end, bro.
Yeah, I remember Farrell Edmonds, man. Of course. He was his dad. Oh, okay, that's good. That's news.
And his brother is Terrell Edmonds.
Yeah.
There's Trey, Terrell, and their father, Farrell. I think there's a third one in the league right now, too. I can't remember if I'm right about that or not. But.
Yeah, 2 Edmonds brothers play for Pittsburgh. One's just a special teams guy.
Yeah, one's a fullback and the other's a safety. By the way,
that was back in the 80s and 90s, man. Old Farrell was spreading his seed, man.
Being that Fred is a Bills fan, you wouldn't know about Farrell Edmonds.
No, man, no, Jake. I do remember Farrell Edmonds, Jake. I do remember him, man. Big, tall guy, man. You know,
Farrell Edmonds caught the first touchdown I ever witnessed live at at Joe Robbie Stadium.
That's cool, Culler. That's cool. It's cool. I probably seen that game on TV, man.
It was against the Seattle Seahawks, December 17th.
Okay. I know I've seen it, man. Just can't remember. But
I want to say 1991. I want to say 1991 was the year.
Yeah. Okay. So there's some football tradition in that band. Not tradition, but the
seats were. Yeah, his daddy played when our seats were still orange, bro.
Okay. But I let them 2 guys go at it. Go ahead, man. I like them 2 guys go at it. I like to hear
man. Mark left, man. Michael cooked him to freaking nothing but a crisp, bro. Cooked him right out the building, man.
Good shit, Mike. Good shit, man.
You know, I gotta call it like it is. I can't. You know, I hate like hell doing it, but when you got somebody that's That's chastising you guys for being to have faith in a player that's never played an NFL snap.
Hey, Mike,
and saying you guys are morons.
you might have earned. I can't
Don't
speak
I
for
know
Lewis.
it?
We'd have to talk to Lewis about it, but you might have
Don't-
earned an honorary cooking folk apron with
Hey,
that one, bro.
Mike, don't I know it, bro? Let me tell you.
You know what? And it kills me. And this is the problem with Buffalo fans. You guys get up here and you guys argue and go back and forth about stuff, which is awesome. But the majority of these Bills players or Bills fans they hear something and it's gospel. You know, that is law. You got people saying that Josh Allen's great. Well, guess what? Josh Allen's a decent quarterback, but he hasn't played to his potential yet. And I'll be the first one to say it.
Right. To me, he hasn't stepped out of Carson Wentz's shoes yet, bro, to be honest with you.
You know, just because you can throw a ball 80 yards in the air doesn't mean you're a great quarterback.
I'm just thinking this thing would suit Michael K so well, bro. I mean, can you imagine Michael K up there in his backyard in Buffalo with that AstroTurf grass in the backyard because they can't grow no grass up there, right?
Oh,
Brady Bunch style, you know what I mean? And he's out there in his freaking with his grill. You know, he's got his hat on. You know, the old lady's got him a chef's hat, for Sunday grill. You know, and he's out there with a cooking folk apron on.
I'd wear it.
That would be priceless.
I'd wear it in a heartbeat.
Especially if he was naked. Otherwise, that would be absolutely hilarious, man. Naked Buffalo fan out there with a cooking folk apron on, cooking in his backyard.
Oh man, yeah.
You know, it just kills me that you bring up good points and people don't want to agree with you because the good point doesn't fit their narrative. Because that's what everybody in Buffalo says. But they're listening to, like Mark is always saying, all the YouTube. I watch YouTube. I get all my information from YouTube. Well, what he needs to do is get Alexa or something and tune into GR55 and listen to the guys from one.
I'm thinking the naked Michael K in a cooking folk apron would probably bring in a lot more females around these parts, bro.
That I swear to God, that could be a bet. That could be a bet. I'd probably take that bet.
Long as they're not Buffalo females, bro, we'll be all right, man. Well, you could grab a couple of them ones just to the north of you up in Montreal, bro. You can bring some of them down here, bro. They'll be just fine.
Yeah, you know what? Them good-looking ones still leave their skid mark panties in the parking lots of our stores.
That's okay. That's quite all right.
Come down here shopping and leave their
you can
dirty
do it.
clothes.
Hey, when you got the women they got up there, bro, you can do anything the fuck you want in this world, bro.
The skin mark. Oh my God, the skin mark.
Culler, one of the things I like about Michael K is, of course, we couldn't do it here, but we roast each other on text all the time.
How dare you admitting to being roasted by Michael K, man?
Oh, no, Shake. No, Shake Money gets me just as good, man. I'll sit here, I'll laugh for half an hour with some of the stuff he sends me.
Yeah, we get
Hey, that'd be a good saying right there. Roast with love, man.
Yeah.
How's that work for you guys, man?
Unfortunately, the stuff we send each other, we can probably get each other banned. So
no, Fred's apron. It's gonna be called roasted turkey. Roasting turkeys.
Hey Shake, check it out, Shake. When we sweep their ass, it's going to be roasted buffalo, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever had roast buffalo, Shake, man, but that's what it's going to be, bro.
Actually, they're just
buffalo.
Actually, the buffaloes are just bison that identify as buffaloes.
Yeah, Shake. Yeah.
Let me ask the dog because I'm reading.
I watch that. I like see bison, man. I like seeing them on that National Geographic shit, man. They just chill, man, in minus 20-degree weather. Like it ain't nothing.
Go ahead, Michael K. What's good?
Well, I just read what C. Hopple had to say about Josh Allen being a great running back, average QB. I can't agree with him more. Can't agree with him more because if you look at the stats, NFL kept quarterback stats. Josh Allen was ranked 7th. You take away his run, he was 7th, just behind Jared Goff.
again, Michael K., when you've got your second wide receiver not even showing up in the top 42, which means he didn't even get 60 receptions, where is that production coming from if you guys are still 12-win team putting up all the yardage in the numbers? Where is that coming from?
Well,
it's coming from Josh Allen. It's coming from Josh Allen's stat padding ass legs. That's what it's coming from.
Well, you know, it's funny you said
Culler,
Gabe Davis came right out and said, and a lot of the especially the Bills.
He knows damn well his value. Hold on. He knows damn well his value is limited to his arm and his legs. That's where he knows his value is limited to. He has nothing between the ears. So he's going to sit there and pad his freaking running stats so he brings value to the table and looks like one of these elite quarterbacks like everybody else. I'm telling you, the guy is pyrite, bro.
Fool's gold. It'll be different, though. And Gabe Davis came right out and said it.
Hey, by the way, Michael, okay, what kind of lighter do you use, real quickly?
What kind of ladder?
Lighter to light your cigarette. You have
Zippo.
Yeah, I could hear it. Okay, never mind. Just go ahead.
A Zippo.
I'd ask.
But Gabe Davis was running downfield 20, 25 yards every play. You know what? Of course, his numbers aren't going to be the greatest because the further downfield you go, the harder it is to catch the ball.
Right, Michael K. But here's why I say what I say. I don't want people to think I'm saying what I'm saying in a vacuum. Okay, I'm a big fan of Gabe Davis. Okay, I thought it was a shame that teams weren't lining up down the road for him in the offseason. Okay, and I'm not going to argue why, because obviously it's too big a platitude to fight right now, and it ain't my hill to die on. I'm not a Buffalo fan. I don't give a shit, right? But when you talk about a guy, what I can't reconcile is a guy that falls off the planet in production, okay, yet not just one game, okay, he had 2 breakout games in a season, okay, where he's catching for over 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, okay? I saw it come across the fantasy board. I know what I saw. You know what I mean? And then you have a playoff game, okay, where he proceeds to put up 4 touchdowns, 201 yards on 8 fucking receptions. Do the math. How many yards is that per touchdown?
50.
25.
25.
That's 25 yards per touchdown.
Damn.
That was in the Kansas City
I'm
game,
sorry.
correct?
That's 25 yards per reception with 4 touchdowns.
That was in the Kansas City game.
Right. Yet somehow this guy can't be targeted ever again for more than 42 times or whatever he got last year. And you're going to tell me that Josh Allen can't find him?
Well, no, and that is my only displeasure with Dorsey is the way they were using Gabe Davis last year. They were trying to spread the field out to get Diggs more receptions. To get Dawson Knox
when we played you the first game, whatever shit I was talking, whatever confidence level I showed to have, sure, it was with good reason because we beat you. But in the back of my mind, privately, I was thinking Gabe Davis.
Right, oh, absolutely.
That's who I was concerned about the first time we faced you guys last year. And we didn't have nothing to worry about.
I want to say he had the high ankle sprain in the second game going into the third game, I think is when he did it. The practices between the second game, he did it at a practice. And never said anything. And the Bills never let on that he had a high ankle sprain. But yet they kept sending him down the field.
Well, they're bad because it allows me to trash one of the two. I'm either going to trash Josh Allen for stat padding or I'm going to trash Gabe Davis for falling off the face of the earth.
I would blame Allen. I would blame Allen and Dorsey in that respect just for the fact that the way they were using Gabe Davis last year. You know, and that's just my personal opinion. You look at Waddle's routes. He has routes that are down the field. He has routes that are mid, and he has short routes. They're using them, and they're saving him. And with Tyreek, they're doing the same thing.
Yeah, but
Tyreek's route tree is
Tyreek and Waddle. they can do both, man. Now you're not going to Gabe Davis is going to take a 8-yard slant. He's not going to take it 60 yards. Of course not, yo. You know what I'm saying?
He did it a couple times this year.
He took a 8-yard pass and took it 60 yards. You want to tell me?
No, he took it 98 yards, but it was a little bit more. I think it was a 20-yard pass and took it 98 yards, and then the other one was
20 yards.
He took it 64
yards. Okay.
Did I mention that Gabe Davis had that game and Stephon Diggs was on the field?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did I mention that part?
Dorsey won't make that mistake twice.
Well, so how's the average football fan looking at all of what I said? How are we supposed to reconcile that, dude, without thinking the worst about Josh Allen and his stat padding?
Well, he was more stat padding with his legs because
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But see, that's what I'm saying because that's the only place he has value when it comes to sitting at the table across the table from the GM.
You're right, and I'm going to tell you one thing, Culler. I think that dust up between him and Diggs. I think
that's what it's about. I know that's what it's about. Diggs is caping up for the other wide receivers, not for himself, bro.
Right? Absolutely, 100%.
You know, Michael K. I myself, man, thinking no shake. This doesn't put me in.
I'm sorry, Fred. I don't mean to interrupt. I wanted to finish by saying that I just wanted to add something really quick to that. A person might say, why would he cape up for some other man? But it's not about caping up for the wide receivers for that. It's about he knows that when they use the other wide receivers like they did Gabe Davis in that game, that's how they kick ass.
Yeah,
right, absolutely.
And they're not kicking ass like they were before because Josh Allen has a different agenda. And I think Diggs is right for saying it.
I do too. I was 100% in Diggs' corner the whole time. Because you look at Allen. Look at Allen in 2020. Oh, go ahead, Fred.
Let's don't forget Diggs bitched a lot in Minnesota too, bro. You know what I mean? And Kirk Cousins wasn't nowhere near running the ball like fucking Allen is, man. He bitched in Minnesota too, man. You know.
Was Kirk Cousins even there when Diggs was there? Because I thought it was Case Keenum. I thought it was Case Keenum was the quarterback.
Yeah, Cousins was there.
Yeah, only for a year or two, I think.
I think for like 2 years, wasn't it?
Yeah, a year or two. I don't think that.
But the point is, man, Diggs was bitching when, you know what I'm saying?
Maybe that's true. But that doesn't mean his reason. That don't mean he can't be bitching up for a different reason now.
Right. Well, no. And Diggs is when Diggs addressed the media,
not getting the ball enough, man. The only case.
Well, on the surface, Fred, it is that also. I'm saying both could be true. Like it's partly, he's not getting the ball enough, but as a result of him not getting the ball enough, if he wasn't getting the ball enough, but it was because Gabe Davis had 4 touchdowns, he probably would accept that more than 700 something rushing yards from Josh Allen.
Hey, can I say something real quick? I just want everybody to wish Sal congratulations on being the president of the Josh Allen Bone Stroker Club. Because he's in here in the chat just praising Josh Allen, but he doesn't know anything.
I'm sure I'm striking Sal's nerve, bro.
I am. I am because I will not.
Well, if everybody's going to make me, everybody's going to make me see certain things about Tua and all that, then I'm going to call it straight down the middle for Allen too. I ain't convinced. He ain't done nothing. He ain't won nothing. Just like Lewis always says, what the hell has he won?
Yep.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
He's Tannehill. He's Tannehill with a stronger arm, and better legs.
You got to admit, though, that his showing in the Kansas City game, the 13 seconds, his showing was pretty impressive.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean? But that was 2020. Yeah. Now, that was 2020 when he had a 70% completion rate. Why in 2021 and 2022 did he only have 63?
Right. So you're talking. He went through a year or two or whatever it was where they brought him up to speed, right?
Right.
Installed
2020
brain.
Was his breakout year.
I guess installed a brain in his head. I don't know what they did, but
okay, but he was still in the playoffs in 21.
Okay, right. And so his first year, hold on. So in his first year where everybody expected something, he balled out.
Yeah.
Right? Got to the champion, the old 13-second. Yeah. But like Michael K said, balled out. Now what happened? You don't think teams adjusted?
No, they got rid of Beasley. They got rid of Beasley. They got rid of an effective slot receiver that Josh Allen could count on. So now Shakir comes in last year, and they put Beasley in ahead of him for 1 or 2 games. When Beasley Shakir had 48% separation in his snaps, and Allen only threw the ball 20 times.
What I'm trying to say is the problem with Josh Allen that I have is that he's already figured out. Teams know how to beat him.
Oh, absolutely.
And there's no changing it. The fortunate thing for him is he is so athletically gifted that he can generally overcome that. That's what makes him, in a lot of people's eyes, a great one. Okay, fine. Yeah. But that can only carry you so far, bro. Like, you have to still, have it between the ears, man.
Well, absolutely. And I think in 2020 when he ran the ball, it's because he waited. 2021, 2022, he just took off running, and everybody's blaming the offensive line.
Well, because what ends up happening is your division opponents say, okay, well, we've got the scheme to beat him. Now we just need the physical ability to. And they draft people accordingly.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we're going to find out this year.
And so what happens? Can Josh Allen adjust his game like any other MLB pitcher or any other NFL quarterback? So far, he hasn't been able to, in my estimation.
Mm-hmm. And Culler, you just reminded me of a Ron White joke. I had the right to remain silent. I just didn't have the ability to remain silent.
Right, exactly. I mean, Allen is still rolling over people out of sheer might. You know what I mean? But it's not going to win championships, bro. It didn't win a championship for Dan Marino.
Right, absolutely. Didn't win one for Jim Kelly either. And he had
that I'm just a raw good thrower of the football that's going to just, roll over you and might my way into winning. You know what I mean? That ain't going to win a Super Bowl, bro. It just ain't.
Hey, Sal, come on up, buddy. Come on up instead of just putting it in
Sal
the chat.
knows what I'm saying is true. Sal knows what I'm saying is true.
Oh, no, he's blaming everybody but Allen. He's going to be if they
and as long as he keeps stat padding, all of your money is going to have to go to him.
Oh, that's true. We got him for another 5 years, or is it 6? I think it's 6 years they signed him for.
And
Sale can sit there and say all this stuff. He blames everybody.
To me too.
Sale's blaming everybody but Allen. So if they ever have a line that says first one in line is going to get a Josh Allen money shot off the chin, Sale will be right there. He'll be the number 1 guy in line.
Damn, that's cool.
Instead of calling it like we see it, like back in the early 90s when we were at the Super Bowl 4 times, there were still issues. And with the exception of the first game against the Giants, the Bills there was no way they were winning the next 3. It was the NFC just had us outgunned. Way better teams. And there's nothing any of the players or the coaches could do about it. The skill just wasn't there. The ability wasn't there.
I was going to say they were outgunned in the Super Bowl, man. If they lost a field goal wouldn't allow them to win the Super Bowl, man. That's what it came down to, bro.
Oh, shout out
just the luck of the dice, shit happens.
Fred, you're absolutely right. And the first game against the Giants, they lost because Norwood missed a field goal.
Shout out to Jermaine DeVoe for becoming a member. That's what's up.
Yeah, it's just Sale blames everybody but Allen. You look at his 14 interceptions, there was only 2 that were contested. The other 12 were just bonehead plays by Allen, throwing it to where nobody was other than the opposing defense. You know, and that's it, and that's the difference. McDaniel's offense, obviously, too.
well,
We can all agree that Tua is not as athletic as Josh Allen.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But you know what? He didn't have that many interceptions. He had 3,500 yards. So what does that tell you?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what does that tell you? If Josh Allen was as good as he was, then there should be no comparison between Allen and Tua ever. If Allen was as good as everybody thinks he is.
How many touchdowns did Allen throw last year?
35, I think.
Okay, there's 10 more touchdowns than Tua. Okay.
Might have been 36.
He threw what? 5 more interceptions, but he also had 10 more touchdowns.
How many interceptions did Tua have last year?
12, right? Man, no, it might have only been 8. Might have only been 8.
Let me see. That's all we have.
Hey, Sal, was McDermott out on the field? Was McDermott out on the field? Let me ask you that.
Did he sabotage him?
No, you blame Allen when McDermott choked.
I can hear you.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to Grimaine DeVoe, our newest YouTube member, member of the Fins Tailgate. Appreciate you very much, Grimaine.
What's up, Grimaine? What's going on,
thanks. I was having some issues with my microphone, but I got it squared
I made
away.
sure I shot him out too.
Yep, I heard you. But thank you very much again. And so guys, I got my errand to go run. So I gotta shut the show down unless Shake wants to keep it going and me drop the link again.
I gotta go. I'm gonna be in the blender in 30 minutes.
Otherwise, it's all fun listening to Fred cook Michael K, the Buffalo fan. But
good job, Fred.
Hey, Shake, that still doesn't put me, man, with the Josh Allen Bone Stroker Club, bro. Well, come on, man.
To the 40 of you still hanging with us, we appreciate it. I would go longer, but I've got to go run an errand for the family.
For sure.
So I
gotta go cut my AstroTurf.
All right. Yeah, exactly.
You guys take it easy, man.
All right, man.
Thanks for having me up, guys.
Hey, no problem, Michael. I just wanted to know. Oh, he already left.
Yeah.
I was going to ask if the new AstroTurf for the single family homes, if it has the little rubber beads in it like the football fields do. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. By the way, this is the last episode of In the Blender until after we win the Super Bowl. So
tonight, right?
Yeah, tonight.
And that's in what, 20 minutes?
Yeah, 7 o'clock.
10 o'clock?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Oh, 7. That's right. So I got to shut it down anyway. Well, that's good. It's perfect.
I appreciate you.
So guys,
tomorrow drive time.
Tell them where to go, Shake.
Oh yeah, Larry K. Just type in Larry K. and you'll see his name. Larry K. Dolphins fan. You'll see Larry K. Fanatic Fury fan, and I'm gonna be in there. Of course. Tomorrow we're gonna be doing at 6 o'clock, or I might put at 6:30. We're gonna do drive time open panel, and then Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. I'm gonna do another open panel, and I'm gonna try the last W energy drink. So,
all right, awesome. So you do have a tailgate tomorrow, Friday night tailgate, like normal. Sure.
Yeah, drive time.
And for those of you that want to catch Shake in his own blender tonight,
hell yeah. Larry K is
over on Larry K's channel.
He's gonna be the interviewer.
I just posted the link. That is the link to Fanatics Fury, and Shake will be over there in about 20 minutes. Mixing himself up.
Hell yeah. So, all right,
hey,
man.
Thanks for coming in and helping me hold the panel down real quick.
And by the way, you still owe me a bonus episode. It's the season finale, but there's a bonus episode with you, and you're gonna be doing the all ultimate 53-man roster team.
Gotcha. So we're gonna do that as an encore to season 1, or
it's gonna be a bonus episode.
Okay, cool. So, I'm ready for it.
Yeah, me too. So all right, guys.
Like I said, appreciate you coming in and helping me run a little panel for a second.
No problem.
We were kind of dying off there.
I just got home. So I was trying to come earlier, but fucking some reason my fucking phone sucks when I'm out and about for StreamYard.
Right on. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be on the road here in a second, but I'm gonna be lurking. Just gonna go over in the blender.
Just can't wait to get on the road again.
I know, right?
All right, my brother. All right,
All
man.
right, Shake. Appreciate you,
Fins up.
buddy. Everybody have a great day. We'll have a lot more stuff from camp. I think camp's going on tomorrow. And
No,
of course,
it's not going on tomorrow.
oh,
Saturday.
no camp tomorrow.
Saturday.
In preparation for the scrimmage, I'm guessing. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so cool. We'll, obviously we'll catch you tomorrow. We'll, doing something.
Oh yeah, and Saturday we're gonna do this. We'll do the scrimmage. If you,
Yep,
I'm gonna do,
Ali and I will be at the scrimmage. We'll definitely and we'll follow it up late night, Saturday night with Late Night Exhale. Make sure you're catching Capitan wherever you can find him. And as always, fins up, ladies and gentlemen. All stops between. Have a great one, guys.